And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, live on the show. And we got a whole lot going on tonight, whole lot going on over the past few days, weeks, months. The Miami Beach kerfuffle could have been totally prevented, could have been totally avoided, but they're not really trying to open up. They're still trying to stay shut down. Can't stay shut down when people are coming to your town. If they're going to come to your town, you can't stay shut down. You got to do something to handle those crowds of people, and that wasn't done. Learn from Virginia Beach, learn from Myrtle Beach, learn from Daytona, learn from other places around the country about how to handle these crowds. And as a matter of fact, you guys are not rookie to this whole thing. Miami Beach, you know what time it is with the teens that come on spring break that don't even go to college. You know what time it is. Get it together. Also, did you guys see that the Biden administration finally put out pictures of the border facilities after we already done seen the pictures from Project Veritas and Democratic congressmen? All they showed was the exact same burritos from Chipotle, Moe's, Salsaritas, etc. It showed the exact same thing, the tinfoil, all of that. Also, the Colorado shooter. First it was a white supremacist, now you don't know. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the show, please give the video a like, a thumbs up, and a subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And this show will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether they be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. A link for that will be in the description box, or you could just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. This show should pop right on up, audio only. And also, I revamped my ABL merch website. I got away from Teespring. No more Teespring. All right. We're more independent with the website. Better website. That's ABL merch, MERCH.com. Okay, you got the new I Survived the Pandemic hat. You got this one right here and a bunch of more things. You got the I Digress hats. I'll do those in mugs as well. I'm also working on women's clothing. Some are just like the regular women's boyfriend tee type things, or the crop tops and the tanks. I'm working on those as well. And we got a lot more products aside from hats and shirts and whatnot. We got a lot more products coming to the store, so y'all just stay tuned. We're going to do a lot of updating, because the other one was really restrictive about as far as products. I couldn't really add things from external of that source, but now I can add pretty much whatever I want on the store. So we're going to have a whole lot of things coming to the store, a lot of discounts, a lot of sales, a lot of giveaways. I'm going to do giveaways eventually as well. So y'all just go to ablmerch.com for whatever you need. All right. So yeah, and of course I design all the merch. Everything you see on there, I designed. Unless it's an American flag or something like that. I did not design the American flag, obviously, but I made sure that the colors are right, the position was right. I do everything. I had the idea about this one. I was like, let me think about something like a name tag or some kind of warning sign and say, I survived the pandemic. And if you can see, I made the plan a little bit bolder than the demic, so you can kind of get the emphasis on the plan as, part of the pandemic. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what it is. Oh, this is also available in the shirt and also in the dad hat. My head is humongous, so I can't really wear the dad hats like that. I got to wear the trucker hats on like the last little notch pretty much. But a lot of you guys enjoy the dad hats, and I'll have a lot more hats coming up pretty soon. So look forward to that. I'm really excited about the store. This is all me. We're trying to get as many USA products as possible, but it's hard. It's hard. If you guys have any USA made products like blank hats or whatever, let me know. That I can buy wholesale. I'll put them in the warehouse. You can make them whenever. All right. We have some USA stuff, but a lot of it is not. And also some of the stuff is made close to where you are. If you live overseas, we have a Europe distributor and also an Australia distributor. So it's made close to where you live. Somebody order something from Australia and it will be made there and just sent straight to you. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, but that site's going to be fun. And of course, AnthonyBLogan.com for all your news. All my sources and everything are over there. So when I say the source will be in the description box, check out the description box for more, read more. That goes to my website, anthonyblogan.com. Everything is on there, right? So that's what we got going on. Okay, a dad hat is kind of hard to explain. A dad hat is like, it has a lower profile and a more of a curved brim, like straight away. And the way a lot of dad hats work, it has like an adjustable strap in the back rather than the hold on, let me just get you a hat right quick. So this is a regular trucker hat. It's regular trucker hat right here, normal one. And you see the back, it has these kind of straps where you just, connect them like that. All right. And then this one has like the vented. Well, this is a snapback. This is a snapback, not a trucker. Because the snapback has the fabric on the back without the vented. You see, that has a vented. This has just a regular fabric. So this is a snapback, but it's the same thing, really. It's the same concept, just different back. And this part in the back is the same. So that's what it is. But the dad hat has an adjustable strap, usually, and not the buttons. Fitted hats, I could do fitted hats as well. That's coming up soon as well. I remember the Flex Fits. Wow, Mike, you taking it back. You probably about my age, aren't you? I remember the Flex Fits. I had all of those. Yeah. But so thank y'all for being here. Again, ablmerch.com. We got a whole lot coming to the store. I'm gonna do license plate. I'm gonna do everything. License plate holders, books, all of that. And of course, if you guys don't know, these flags right here are made in America, definitely handmade in America by bhedesigns.com. Check it out in the box. Okay, now let's get to it. Miami Beach. I don't know what they were expecting in Miami Beach to happen. Okay, like I said in my video, I have experience dealing with this kind of stuff. Let me give you a little bit of my history before we even get into it. I'm from Virginia. I'm born in West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia. When I was a baby, goo goo gaga, that age, I moved to Virginia, Hampton Road, Seven City area. I lived in Newport News. I lived in Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake. I stayed out the beach for a while. I lived everywhere all around the seven cities because it's pretty much just one city, all right? Separated by bridges and water and stuff like that. But anyway, so I'm from there, and I've been to Virginia Beach on every occasion. I've been to the beach on the 4th of July, spring break, when it's hot, when it's cold, all of that. As a local, not a tourist. It's a difference. When you are local, okay, you know where to go, where not to go, what to do. You know how to, kind of how to handle yourself, right? And you also know when you have certain times of the year, you might want to avoid the ocean front, which is what we call the beach. Tourists come in when they go straight to the ocean front, 17th Street, right off the Interstate 264. They want to go right there and just hang out, fun in the sun. But to us, it's just like normal because we've been so much throughout our childhood. It's not even the real thing. So when it comes to things like spring break, we know what time it is. We know what time to be there, especially when you get to be older. When I was a young kid, like teenage or early 20s, I would go down to the beach because it was fun for me at that time. I'm still just kind of wild. I'm out there just doing my thing, young and ignorant. I would go down to the beach on the 4th of July and spring break. I wasn't really involved in no crazy activity like I'll talk about a little bit later. I was just out there hanging out. But I knew what was going on around me and knew how to avoid it. I knew you're going to have certain gangs out there from local areas, and you're going to have the tourists that come, and it's going to be a clash. You're going to have cultural clashes within the tourists that all kind of have a similar culture. Speaking about black folks and some of the, white, Hispanic hood rats or whatever, when they come down there, you're going to have cultural clashes, okay? If you got some guys from Texas and then some guys from New York, and then there's a kind of a battle right there, that might not work out because the cultural issues may kind of put them in their own little silos, then it's going to be a problem. But you can prevent a lot of these issues from happening if you do the right thing. Virginia Beach, they occasionally learn from their mistakes, and sometimes they don't. they occasionally let their guard down. That's when bad things happen. There was a riot in Virginia Beach called the Greek Fest riots. And if you guys are from Virginia, you know what I'm talking about. 1989, the same kind of thing happened that happened in Miami Beach over the weekend and a few weeks of this year or of this spring break season. The same thing happened, but to a larger extent, obviously. I was surprised there was no looting down Miami Beach. Very surprised, because that's a feature of these kinds of events. But during Greek Fest, they said 100 stores got looted. So basically, they had the Greek Fest, and it's mostly black colleges coming down, and also people that are not in college, and locals and goons and everybody else. They were not really welcome at the beach because they had brought problems before. Small problems and also some big problems. If you listen to the police scanner down at Miami Beach on the weekends, you'll see what's going on. Assault, battery, robbery, larceny, people going to these high-end restaurants down the beach and not paying the tab. There was video of a guy getting chased by waiters for not paying his tab down in Miami. That kind of stuff happens. Now, that was going on in Virginia, and it still goes on like during the spring break time. So the mayor at the time, Maya Oberdo, where I met her when like, this might have been like 07, 08 when I met her, because I was at a place where we had a ribbon cutting ceremony. Back at my old ad agency, she did ribbon cutting ceremony for us, and met her right there. She died in 2015, rest in peace. But at the time, she was a mayor back in 1989, and she said, "You guys are not welcome here because of what you do all the time." But they came anyway. So when they said, "Hey, you guys are not welcome," but they came anyway, they probably got caught flat-footed the same way that Miami Beach did, because they're going to come regardless. You could say you're not welcome. It doesn't matter. They're going to come regardless. So when they got there, they had nothing to do. They're roaming around the streets. Now imagine you got people that come from all over the country, no kind of home training, might have just left their area for the first time ever, first time on the plane. They're going down there, don't know how to act. They're young, 18, 19, crazy. You got gangs out there, thugs out there, mixed with good college kids, all of that. It was a big mess. Nothing to do, drugs and alcohol, crazy people. Now you got a riot. The police were down there and they got overwhelmed back in 1989. So they left, and then they came back with full riot gear. But when they left like the whole night. And 100 stores got looted. It was like the rooftop Korean type thing, because you had guys that were working or their own stores. They had to chain their stores up, get on their roof and protect themselves that way, because they were too afraid to get on Atlantic or to go to the interstate or whatever, to go home or just to leave the area. They were too afraid because of all the rioting that was going on. And in the rioting, you got a bunch of chaos that's happening in the riot, people getting assaulted or whatever. Now, in Virginia Beach, you had 100 stores that got looted. But on Miami Beach, I don't think any stores got looted, but there was quite a bit of stealing going on. Virginia Beach learned from the Greek Fest and subsequent little riots and tips that happened on spring break, and they put all kind of rules down the beach. When I was there, I'm not sure they still got it, but when I was there in Virginia, they had these little signs on the beach that says no cursing. I'm serious. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to find this sign. I think they're gone now, which might be a bad idea actually. But they put these signs that said no cursing. And this is a matter of fact, here it is. This is a real sign. They repealed it. That's dumb. They repealed it last year actually. But it actually did work. It worked to a certain extent, because you needed to kind of discourage the negative behavior away from the tourist spots, because it caused the tourists to not go there. Now, here's the sign I'm talking about. Let me put it on the screen right quick. Give me a second. And here it is. That's a sign right there. Now, it's a centuries old law, but it didn't really enforce it up until like 2000 something. It might have been like early 2000s when they did this. They put these signs on the beach, and what you don't see, it cuts off right there at the very, very end of it. But underneath that, there's a speaker, and the beach closes at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2:30, right around then. If you're caught down the beach past that time, your car's getting towed, and you paying $100 on the low end to get it out of the tow. You got to go way down Laskin Road. But anyway, This sound was on the beach, and beneath it there was a speaker that would play like classical music at 2 o'clock, so to get you off the beach. These kind of things are what they did to mitigate the unruly behavior on the beach. Towing your car, that's something else. Heavy police presence on the horses. Like I said in the video, a friend of mine, we were down the beach on the 4th of July, and he went behind the Krispy Kreme or somewhere to pee. And the horse rolled up on him. I'm talking about, it's so fast. You know how fast horses are? Like, you may see a horse on TV and see it galloping or whatever, but you know how fast it is? They're like as fast as a car. 55 miles an hour on the top gallop, 55 miles an hour. So they're very fast and very quiet, actually, when they run up on you because they're so quick. And, that happens. You might get trampled by a horse if you do something wrong. But anyway, they got horse patrol, all kind of enforcement. If you get caught cussing, that's a ticket. If you pee on the ground, that's a ticket. They do things to mitigate damage. And also, when they have spring break, they're going to have certain things set up. I know guys that are party promoters, and I did a lot of flyers for them. If you search College Beach Weekend, I was doing a lot of this stuff for these guys. The website, the flyers, that was me. But anyway, they would have party promoters talk to the city police, fire, all of that, and say, hey, these guys are coming. What can we do to keep them occupied so they're not out here causing the wreck for the civilians, the regular normies, the mom and dads with their kids who come down here for spring break or whatever the case may be. All right, cool. We're going to have an event over there, an event over here, and we're going to market it a certain way to where we get less of the hood rat culture to come out. If we don't market it, if we just kind of say, hey, come one, come all, you're going to get the hood rats, the thugs, the gangbangers, the guns, the violence, the drugs, all of that. You're going to get some of that even with the party promoters trying to mitigate it, but you're going to have less. They did not do that in Miami Beach. They said Miami, the city, which is not the same as Miami Beach, apparently. It's two different cities. Miami was spending money on advertising for tourists to come back, but Miami Beach did not do that. They were trying to be like California and try to keep stuff locked down still. So when that was a bad move because people still came. Overcrowding, nothing to do, roaming around, drugs, alcohol, unruly people, hood rats, thugs, bad mix. Terrible mix. Now you got a white girl got raped and murdered allegedly on the beach by 2 black suspects. You won't hear about that on the news. You're probably hearing about it for the first time right now. They're trying to cover that up. That kind of thing happens on the beach if you don't plan properly. I'm not saying it's Miami Beach's fault that happened to the young lady. May she rest in peace. However, a lot of the behavior could have been mitigated if you plan properly because they're going to come regardless. You can't just stop tourism at a certain point. You need to do things right. But they didn't. They did not. So there's got to be a lesson to anybody out there. Myrtle Beach, Daytona, Virginia Beach, Miami Beach, any beach. Wilmington, North Carolina, wherever you have a beach at, even on the left coast, wherever you got a beach at, be prepared for these roving hordes of hooligans to come to your town, right? Be ready because they coming. And one thing that fueled it also was, everybody got their stimulus check. They got their stimmy money. They got cheap flights to Miami. We're lit. And they're saying Florida is open. 1,000 arrests over the spring break season as of this past weekend, and they seized over 80 guns down the beach. 80 guns. It's not a very humongous area. It's a pretty big area, but it's not that big. I've been down Miami. I mean, it's a decent size, but I think Virginia Beach might be bigger than Miami Beach as far as the area of beach that exists. But got to get ready. So that's what I got to say about that. Yeah, they're not coming to Washington State. Now, they might go to LA or something like that, but they're not coming. What they usually do, they go to Virginia Beach, Miami Beach, Virginia Beach, Myrtle Beach. That's the 2 main spots as far as I know. That's the main spots. And we used to always hate the tourists. Like, that's why I don't really like going to Virginia Beach that much because I'm from there. And it's a tourist trap, but they don't treat the tourists properly a lot of times. That beach is dirty. Like, I find myself being like, when I go to the beach with family and friends that are not from there, I'm like a tour guide. I'm like, hey, don't go over there. That's, you don't want to be caught over there by yourself. Oh, don't go under the pier where it's nice and cool because somebody might have slept there last night and hit their needle in the grass. Don't go over there or in the sand. So I'm like a tour guide. It's not really fun. But anyway, yeah, I think they need to just tighten up and do better. That's all. Tourons, exactly. Rather than morons, Tourons. That's great. Thank you, Crow Mac 9. All right. Yeah, the stimulus money is serious. Like, I did the video about people quitting their jobs. That's real. Okay, that's real. I saw this I saw a story today about a McDonald's in what was that, Memphis? I'm gonna try to find that right quick. This is an example of what's going on with this whole situation with the with the virus stimulus package causing a shortage in people that are able to work or that want to work, not able to work. They can work, but the question is, do you want to work? That's really the long and short. You know, it's jobs available. Okay, you want to be a dishwasher making 11 an hour, 15 an hour. Okay, here's a job for you right now. People are having a hard time filling these jobs because people got their stimmy checks, the unemployment insurance. I said it before. You can't incentivize laziness. You can't incentivize sloth and just, no desire to work. What's the point in working when you're getting paid more to not work? What's the point? This is why I say the whole UBI thing is just ridiculous because you're not going to encourage work that way. You got to be kind of hungry a little bit to go out there and try to get something to eat. Like, you got to be hungry to go out there and try to fight and work to get something to eat. If you're not hungry, then what's the point in trying to get something to eat? What's the point in doing anything to go get food if you're not hungry? It made no sense. But here's what I wanted to show you guys right quick. This is from a McDonald's in Memphis. And I can almost guarantee, I don't know for sure, I'm speculating, but I can almost guarantee that the reason why they're short-staffed is because of the virus stimulus. So here we go.
McDonald's, we only accepting cards. And before you order, we don't have any Sprite, no sweet tea, no fruit punch. Our ice cream and pepper machine doesn't work. Please keep your order small because there's only 3 of us in here.
Okay, thank you.
McDonald's, we only accepting cards. And before you...
So what she said was, welcome to McDonald's, we're only accepting cards. And we're out of, what she said, we're out of...
you order, we don't have any Sprite, no sweet tea, no fruit punch.
No Sprite, no sweet tea, no fruit punch.
Our ice cream and pepper machine doesn't
Ice cream machine is down.
work. Please keep your order small because there's only 3 of us.
Keep the order small because we're only 3 deep. There's only 3 of us in here. Keep the order small. You're going to see that a lot all over the place. I did a video where I showed you guys and people were saying, oh, ABL, that's just one example of one sheet of paper. But the paper I showed said, hey, my whole staff went ahead and left because they got their stimulus checks. So we got to close right now at 7 o'clock because nobody's here. It's the same thing going on with this McDonald's. If I go to get any food that is not cooked by my wife, like right now, I'm not going to a McDonald's or a Wendy's. I'm going to a family-owned restaurant because I know they're going to be in there. Okay, they're going to be in there, but some kind of chain, some kind of big food spot, oh no. If you're getting paid like minimum wage, what's the point? You can make more on unemployment. And like I said before, you can quit your job and still get unemployment because you have a quote unquote good cause due to the whole virus thing. That's a new rule change. Oh, you can quit as long as it was a good cause. What you going to say? You know what? My dog got diabetes and I got to take care of it. That's a good cause. I mean, that might work. Or I'm scared of being front facing. I'm a person of color, POC. So I need to go home and just sit on my hind parts, eat bonbons, and watch the TVs all day. Oh, that's a good cause right there. Here's your $24 a month and your stimulus check and your earned income tax credit and your tax return normally. Have at it. Go to Best Buy, get you a 75-inch flat screen that you're going to put into a Honda Civic from 1997 in your studio apartment. Go do that. Why not? All right. Richard says, it's like a super chat right here. Idiot. Why would you tell customers there's only 3 employees in there? They're just asking to get robbed. Well, if you're in Memphis, that's not necessarily uncommon to get robbed at a store. So they probably have precautions in place to prevent that. You probably can't even go inside. So in order for you to rob the restaurant, you might have to go through bars and chains and everything else. So it's probably not even worth it. really, and they only have cards. So what you gonna get? But you gonna get some buns, some uncooked uh, uh, beef patties. What you gonna get from the McDonald's with no cash in it and with bars on the window? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what? That could be what it is. What's that? Tasha 238. Hopefully, I ain't butcher your name. But if if the Democrats know that they are shutting everything down, and then on top of that, well, they had things shut down. Now it's back open. But rather than going back to work, you can get this stimulus money. You can get this unemployment insurance. You know, if they know that's happening, they know they're discouraging work. So they're letting the floodgates open. Come one, come all. And then when those who were riding high on the unemployment benefits and the stimulus checks come back down to earth and they say, hey, I need to go back to work. I'm gonna go back to my job right quick, get my job back. Hey, Mr. Edwards, can I get my job back? Nope, we got Jorge and Lee Sham Hong working in your spot where you were. They don't speak no English or nothing. All they gotta do is just push buttons, flip burgers, and that's it. They're gonna work in there for the minimum wage or whatever it is and be happy. And send money back to their country of origin. While you, who were riding high on that stimulus and unemployment insurance, will be left with no job. They already know what time it is. They're trying to purge out the people they think are lazy and put people that they think will work hard or that they can exploit in their place. That's the 10-fold hat ABL speaking right there, but I'll digress. We got a whole lot more happening. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the show so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, share the video. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I'd most certainly appreciate you if you did. But we got a whole lot happening. Oh, the border pictures. Now, have you seen the border pictures that Joe Biden's administration, or what did it say, the Biden-Harris administration put out? I saw that they want to be known, speaking about Joe Biden and his team, they want to be called the Biden-Harris administration. Like, they requested that. Now, have you ever seen that before where it was like, okay, call us the Bush-Cheney administration or the Obama-Biden administration? Nah, that isn't, it's the Obama administration, the Trump administration, the Bush administration, not the Bush-Cheney administration. They want to put the Biden-Harris thing out there because of wokeness, number one, because Kamala Harris is a person of color. She's Asian. Apparently, we'll talk about that in a minute. She's Asian, also black, and she'll probably be the president anyway once they say, all right, Joe, thank you for your services, but you're pretty much expired. You're pretty much running on fumes right now. We don't need you anymore. Go ahead and clock out and move on. All right. So they're going to put Kamala Harris in there. So they're trying to get you prepared to say Harris is part of the administration rather than just Joe Biden by himself. All right. They know what time it is. This is a calculated thing they're doing. This is a plan. Right. Now, what was I speaking about? Oh, the border pictures. Now, they put out these pictures. Let me see if I can find it right quick. It was nothing. It was the same old Chipotle, welcome to Moe's looking things I've seen already. The same burrito wraps that I've already seen. It's like, okay, that's it. That's all you got for me right there. I need a little bit more than that. I can't even really do nothing with that. They're not telling us anything. And a little bit of background to back up a little bit. There was pressure put on the administration to release pictures from the southern border facilities. It's like, okay, can we go to the southern border? Can we go see what's happening? They've still not done that as of yet. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But they should allow people to go down to the border and see what's happening. But for some reason, they're not. They want to put out their own images to the public. It kind of seems like North Korea, where they put out their own stuff and tell you that's what's going on, rather than letting reporters in there, rather than letting anybody in there. They'll put out their own stuff. If they do let you in there, what they'll do is they'll have you on a guided tour. So you see what they want you to see. You bring back what they want you to bring back. You don't have any way to really honestly report on the whole situation. So they put out the Moe's burritos pictures, the so-called migrants and these little tinfoil blankets. But it's like, what else are you really showing? We already know that. And it's funny how the media are not calling this kids in cages. I've not really seen that whole thing. Remember, there was this whole big outcry about the kids in the cages. AOC went down, to some fence, some random fence somewhere. I'm not sure where she was, but she was crying on the fence. All kind of activists down there crying. Oh, here it is right here. Remember this? Like, it's a great picture right here. This is a perfect picture. Okay, so this is AOC, and she's on the border. Let me get it in focus here. And she's like crying or looking real solemn and sad. First of all, this was a merch plug because she had this red lipstick on, and that sold out immediately. I'm talking about instantly sold out. I'm like, why? It's like basic lipstick. You can get that right now from Rite Aid for the low. So what makes her so special? Anyway, she's right here at the border, dressed in white for some reason. I mean, is that supposed to be purity? Is that racist? Is that white supremacist? Anyway, she's looking real sad and crying. But look over here. There's nothing. It's just an empty lot. You have one officer right there. That's it. So what's up with the long face? What are you really upset about, ma'am? I don't get it. I don't understand. Meanwhile, you got all these, Chipotle burritos down there on the border right now today, elbow to elbow, and it's fine. Don't nobody even care. Go down to the burrito stand and cry right there. How about that? Matter of fact, let me try to find that picture. Biden administration border pictures. Let me see if I can find it. But we all know what time of day. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Well, this ain't it. This ain't what I want. This is what we already saw. All right. This is what we've already seen. I'm gonna get to the one that they put out. Matter of fact, I'll show this one right here, and I'll compare and contrast. Okay. So this is what we've already seen. You got all the burritos laying down. I'm not saying that in a racist way. I'm saying burritos because they have one of these little tinfoil jackets. So they look like burritos in a tinfoil. That's what I put my burritos in. So we've already seen these, right? Photos of migrant detention highlight Biden's border security. So they're on the hard ground, got the TV in the background, these little plastic partitions and the fencing. You have fencing without fencing, meaning you don't have the chain link fence, but you have the same framing of a chain link fence with some kind of polyurethane. I don't know what that is right there. So we've already seen these pictures right here. All right. Young boy with the Echo shirt, nice pair of shoes. Everybody looks well fed and they don't look malnourished or anything of the sort. They look pretty decent. And of course they are going to be looking pretty decent because it costs money to get over here. They're saying $5,000 to $10,000 per person per trip. So if you don't make it, then ain't no refunds as far as I know. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But how many of y'all just have 10 grand to throw away to gamble right now, $10,000? Yet I'm told that these young men over here are so that they're so lost and helpless, and they're really coming from impoverished areas and they're trying to flee violence. Well, I don't know what kind of violence you fleeing that just affords you the right to have 10 racks in your pocket to dispose of and light on fire to come to the U.S. and get more money and send it back home so they can get more money and send more of them over by coyote. But anyway, we've already seen these pictures before. This is pretty much what it is, the burritos or whatever, right? There's Jen Psaki trying to squirm out of it as usual. Nothing new there. Now, let me find the pictures that the Biden administration put out. Okay, there we go. Now we're on the Hill. Let's not have all this in the way. And so I think this is it right here. So these are the pictures that they want to show. Looks better, huh? You got this, nice. It's open. Looks like it's outside and it's all good. But it's the same type of thing. Same deal. This is a detention center. Oh, look at that. A nice little playpen. On the ground. This is hilarious. This is like a kitty cage. If you guys can't see it, it's like a little playpen type thing you might use for a baby or a toddler, but it's on the hard surface with one of those gray mats, a little kid on top of that, like a little play mat on top of that, and a TV in the background playing cartoons. But meanwhile, you're still in the tent. You're still in detention. It's the same thing that was going on under Trump. the same burritos and everything else, right? So here's more pictures above, but we already seen these. So what they released, they're trying their best. They're trying their best to make these things look better than what they are, although we already know what time it is. Okay, here's some more pictures. So they got people volunteering, ribbons, and they got food and all this kind of good stuff. Oh, it looks really nice. It's a lot of homeless veterans out there that could use that kind of assistance and help. All right. Got a little phone area. Got border agents. Oh, super high tech. Okay. So they're showing you the parts that look pretty decent, but they don't want to show you the actual detention part of it. They're calling it temporary processing facilities. That's what they're called, rather than the kids in the cages. Processing facilities. Okay, you got doctors, and so there's a little bus right there. They're busing the kids in to the detention center. So you get a free bus ride or a free plane ride to pretty much wherever you want if you come to the border illegally. All right. So washing machines, and here go the burritos. They're showing us almost like the very end of the pictures. They show you all the nice little infrastructure and, you know, the food and the nice clean bus. And we get to this is the reality of what's going on. Okay, they're sitting pretty much side by side. They have masks on for the most part, but ain't no distancing. And how many of them have the virus? That's a question right there. Okay, got a little field out there to play soccer. What is that? Is that a toilet area? That's what it looks like. Not sure what that is. Yeah, okay. There's a toilet right there. Got nice little box lunches and everything. It's the same as it was before under Trump. It's the same thing. See, the difference now is that there's more of these open because you have more people coming. Because Trump was like, hey, if you try to come over here, you're not going to be able to get into the interior of the country. Right? That's what he was saying. So people just did not come. If I'm not going to be able to get into the interior of the country, and I got to Mexico City before I can be, before I can appeal, before I can ask for asylum, I got to stay in Mexico. What's the point in coming? I'm trying to get into the interior of the country and stay there illegally through a loophole. The loophole is a whole catch and release thing. Okay, you're going to get caught right here at the border before you go into the country, and then we'll put you into the interior, and you got to come back for a court date. And what they did recently was release people into the interior with no court date. So they're skipping the whole process. They already know what time it is. What's the point in giving you a court date when you're not going to show up anyway? Okay, we're just wasting time and money here. So go ahead and just go. People are getting butthurt about it, but it's like, why? Either you're going to not let them come in or you are. That's the only two options. If you let them come in, they're going to be here illegally. Trump said it back some months ago. He was like, only the lowest IQ people actually come back to their court hearing. Because once you in the States, you good. They got sanctuary cities and everything else. Little hand washing station. They got sanctuary cities. So if you come to the country and they say, hey, okay, you got to come back for a court date. You're not quite here legally yet. Go to your court date and we figure out what happens. They probably would get denied for their asylum because it's probably a bogus claim and they probably would get deported. So rather than going to the court hearing, they would just not, they would just stay where they are and or go to a sanctuary city. So they'll have a harder time of being able to deport them. You see, that's how it works. Remember that situation where the lady, I think it was a judge or something on the bench, warned a suspect in court that ICE were coming to get him? She warned the guy and he was able to escape through the back door. So when that's going on and you have catch and release, what can you do with that? How can you really be able to, there's not much you can do. Okay. So they're showing these pictures. These are the same. This is the same thing that was going on under Trump. No difference. What's the key difference? You have a lack of chain link fence, but it's the same kind of facility, same holding facility. Okay. Kids walking around, getting little supplies and whatnot. It's the same thing going on. All right. This could be eliminated if you just stop the whole catch and release thing. It was not there under Trump. They brought it back under Biden, and now we have overcrowded areas as a result. Okay, they got diapers, fresh clothes, all that good stuff. So that's what it is. All right. Yeah, they probably do need more gardeners, more landscapers and whatnot. And they're trying to hide it like they're doing something altruistic, but really it's about, Democrats and other people trying to get their own needs met. That's it. That's all it is to it. And at the end of it all, the American citizens that are out there talking about, yay, migrants, nobody is illegal. They'll be the ones at the end of the day crying. Your regular, everyday normie trying to make something happen, trying to get something rocking and rolling. They'll be the ones that are crying at the end of the day, unfortunately. All right. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing that I can do about that. That's what they do. That's what they did to themselves. So now, speaking about Joe Biden, he's talking about banning assault weapons. My question would be, what is an assault weapon? I love to know what an assault weapon is. If you guys know what an assault weapon is, let me know in the comments. But anytime I ask that to a liberal especially, they get kind of befuddled. They get kind of confused. They don't really know what to say. They'll say AR-15 sometimes, but I'm like, what is an AR-15? Why is that an assault weapon? The AR-15 is just a rifle. It's not fully automatic. It's not, it doesn't have a grenade launcher on it. It's not an RPG. It's not a rocket. Why is it an assault weapon? What does it even really mean? It's just a rifle. You have rifles that do the exact same thing an AR-15 does as far as shoot. You pull the trigger one time, one bullet comes out. That's a rifle. You have rifles that look way different, with the old school wood grain and whatnot. They look different. They do the exact same thing at the core that an AR-15 does. And AR is just more customizable. Like I have an AR assault rifle, or like I said before, I used to have one, but I lost it in a tragic boating accident. But the whole point behind the AR is you could put, little attachments on it, little scope. It's easier. It's more tactical. It's fun. Collapsible stock. But at the end of the day, the same function is there. Pull trigger one time, one bullet comes out. Okay, 5.56, whatever it is, one bullet comes out. It's the same thing. So why is that considered an assault weapon and a regular rifle, a rifle that does not look the same? Why is it not an assault rifle? And also the guy that was in Colorado had a pistol, an AR pistol. It was not a rifle. So is that an assault weapon as well? So if we're going to say that a pistol is a form of assault weapon, are we going to ban pistols and rifles? What are you going to have? You're going to have like 6-shot revolvers or something like that? Like, what can you have in that situation? And really, all you're going to do is hurt the law-abiding normie citizen. You're going to make regular people become criminals. If I have guns, I'm not saying I do have guns, because like I said, boating accident, tragic, lost them. Anyway, if I were to have guns, that would be considered to be illegal under Biden. Now I become a criminal. Why? I followed the law. I'm not hurting anybody. They're not doing anything. The guns were sitting wherever they were sitting, just hanging out, chilling. Never hurt a soul. So why hurt me? Now the criminals who don't care about the law already, they're not gonna abide by this gun control thing. Okay, you got gun laws already on a lot of these criminals they don't follow. If you have a gun as a felon, you are breaking the law. In Virginia, at least, if in Virginia you get caught with a gun as a felon, that's a 5-year mandatory minimum. Mandatory 5 years off the rip. I know guys in jail for that right now as we speak. Right now. I know guys that have been in jail for that before and did the whole 5. No good time off their sentence, the whole 5 and more. Because you probably had that and other charges on top of that. So you doing the 5 off the rip. So if you cannot have a gun as a felon, but felons still have them, what's the point in having the gun law? And also, Constitution, Second Amendment, shall not be infringed, right to bear arms. So are we going to ignore that? Is that all of a sudden an invalid document nowadays because people want to get woke and try to ban guns, try to ban so-called assault weapons? They never really say what an assault weapon is. They're always really vague. They're talking about high-capacity magazines. Well, if I have a situation with a home invader, and it's a few of them, I've seen videos online you can find right now where you have 3, 4, 5 home invaders at one house, and they're all armed. There was one video I saw, if I could find it, I'll pull it up, matter of fact, but there was one video I saw with 4 home invaders all had their guns out, fully extended, as they went into the house. So they were outside of the house with the guns out. They had handguns, which is something else. They talk about so-called assault rifles. Meanwhile, most of the gun crime happens with handguns. So are we going to try to ban handguns? Is that the ultimate goal? But anyway, rifles come like after hands and feet, somebody getting stomped down and killed. There's rifles of all kinds, including AR, assault rifles or whatever, account for half of the deaths of hands and feet and a quarter of the deaths of knives. The overwhelming majority of gun violence comes from handguns, from criminal people, not from your regular, average, everyday Joe. So if you want to pass laws, why have it apply to regular normies? It's not going to apply to the criminal. But, home invaders, 4 people, if I could find it. But yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff. But this wasn't it right here. I'll find it later. But anyway, that the laws don't make any sense. You're not going to impact criminals. All you're going to do is impact the regular normie, law-abiding person. That's it. That's all that there is to it. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find this. This might be it right here, matter of fact. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay.
On camera.
Let's check it out. It might be, it might not be. Now, caught on camera. Nobody gets shot right here. They're just showing them going to the house with their guns drawn, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. So I got the sound off, but you got one guy pulling up to the front, another guy right behind him pulling up, and they got both of their guns out. This is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So you got 2 guys, both got their guns out. A lot of times it's like that. This ain't it, though. This wasn't the one I was looking for. But a lot of times it's like that. It's not just one person or and not like what AOC said, oh, they're looking for bread. No, that's not what's happening at all. Not in the least bit. All right. So I should be able to have more than 10 rounds in my magazine. That's, give me 30 rounds, 100 rounds. Why not? That 10 rounds might not make it. If I got 5 people and they're armed, it's going to be a whole shootout. So I'm going to need to go ahead and, have enough to account for inaccuracy, adrenaline, people running, and people don't stay still during the shootout. It's not like Call of Duty or something like that where you got these still targets, basically. They're standing right in front of you. So I'm not advocating for violence. I'm advocating for self-defense, and that's it. So if you have any kind of situation where it's a home invasion, you're being attacked, you just don't want to be in a situation where you're caught, as a cool kid say, lacking. You don't want to get caught like that. Oh, here it is. This might be it right here. 4 men wanted for deadly Dallas home invasion. 4 guys. Okay. Now let's go to the video here. So you got 2 guys right there, 3 guys. And the bottom third says 4 men wanted for storming home, killing 1 in Oak Cliff neighborhood Sunday morning. All right, and they're all on camera. And boy right there had an AR himself. Look at that. Hold on. I see that stock right there. That's not a handgun right there. He had a rifle himself. So if they all got rifles, it's multiples of them, and they got the full capacity magazines on them because again they're criminals. These guys are breaking the law. They killed somebody. They're murderers. And you don't have anything, or you got this little Peasley 10 round, or you got some kind of flintlock. You got to do all this type of action. What are you going to be? You might as well be unarmed. Hide under the bed, and hopefully you don't get shot. So, yeah, the people that talk about having these quote-unquote common sense gun laws don't live in reality. They do not live in reality. They don't understand what the average everyday person has to go through or what they must defend themselves from, period. They don't get it. Okay, people are not out here as regular normies doing just random things. People talk about the so-called mass shootings that happen that get media attention, and they say, oh, well, he had an AR. Although the guy in Colorado had a pistol, anyway, they say, oh, he had an AR, we got to ban the AR. But they totally ignore other mass shootings. They only count certain things as mass shootings, although a mass shooting is when 4 or more get shot at once. That's every day in the hood. black on black crime, that's every day. But they don't get counted because the media does not care. The media only counts certain things that can push a narrative, right? They wouldn't have counted this thing that happened at the grocery store if not for the fact that they thought he was white, in my opinion, because I've seen funerals get shot up, birthday parties get shot up, and it's not really a big deal. So if a funeral being shot up, broad daylight, with grandmas, everybody else getting hit, 8 people get shot, killed, that's not really an issue. But the grocery store thing is, you got to ask yourself why. Who's giving you the narrative, and why are they giving you the narrative? But I digress. Learn martial arts? Yeah, definitely learn that too. So you can defend yourself in a variety of ways, because it might be a shootout, it might be a fist fight, whatever it be ready for it. But I tell you what, though, it's good to be able to understand how to fight hand to hand. That's one thing. But if you come into the crib, I'm going to use everything I have in my power to defend myself legally, period. So don't cross that line. If you come into my house, I'm not trying to wrestle. Ain't going to be no MMA. My name is not, regardless of how I look, my name is not Anderson Silva or John Bones Jones. I'm not either one of them guys, or Rampage Jackson. I'm not trying to wrestle. I ain't trying to do no Krav Maga. I ain't trying to do none of that. I'm trying to go ahead and eliminate that threat, period. That's it. But I digress. All right. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you guys for joining in the chat, joining in the show. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate you if you did. Did I get everything? Miami Beach, Colorado, Biden's assault weapon ban, and more. Yeah, I got everything. So super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls. All right. Shout out to Richard, who says, people who are against Second Amendment think there's no reason to own a gun. I wonder how much gang violence has never happened outside their homes. Oh, exactly. They're not from that kind of area. I've been around gang violence. Like I said before, I've been around gang violence. Back in the day, there was a shooting outside of my house. Well, that's happened a few times, but this one was crazy. It was on the news. It was like OK Corral. You ever see a Western and be like, pew, pew, pew. It was like that. It was crazy. I'm talking about, guys had all type of modifications on their guns. You're talking about shotguns, rifles, handguns, everything. They had all kind of artillery out there. And this is in the hood. So if you got guys with that kind of stuff in the hood, it's like they can be anywhere and everywhere, and you don't want to get caught in a situation where you can't defend yourself. That's just the long and short. Yeah, and UK has no guns, but they have a lot of knife crime. And shout out to Lone Wolf 36S, who says, much respect, ABL. Thank you for existing and doing your thing. You are incredibly needed in the nation right now. Thank you. I really appreciate you. It means a lot to me. I come out and just tell the truth. That's pretty much what it is. That's all I do. Now, for some reason, my super chats are vanishing. I have to go find them in a different place. Let me see if I can find them and read them off right quick. Y'all just hang tight. And like the video in the meantime for me, please. I'd appreciate it. Let me see. All right, I got them right here. So let's go back a little bit. We got quite a few. Shout out to Apple, who says, may Almighty God grant eternal rest to Trinola Bartkowiak, Suzanne Fountain, Terry Liker, Melvin Mahoney, Lynn Murray, Ricky Olds, Nevin Stanisic, Denny Strong, Jody Waters, and Officer Eric Talley. May they rest in peace. I'm assuming that's the people that were killed in Colorado. May they rest in peace. Their lives matter, absolutely. Also, FBI failed to stop Vegas, Parkland, Boulder shootings. Yeah, because the guy in Colorado was on the FBI's radar because of a friend of his who was also on the FBI radar. Now, I don't know why. I mean, let's just put 2 and 2 together and guess, an estimated guess, an assumption, if you will. Now, this guy in Colorado tried to go to Syria in 2020, but couldn't because of the pandemic, right? The pandemic, whatever you want to call it. He couldn't go. Why are you trying to go to Syria? I mean, you were born there, but you've been gone since like 2002, 2003. Why are you trying to go back? And is that why you on the FBI's radar, because you're trying to go to Syria? What was going on with that? I saw your Facebook page. You got some early onset radicalization going on. You know, I know what that looks like. But anyway, I digress. FBI, Apple also says FBI fouled up beyond integrity. Fouled up beyond integrity, FBI. FBI also equals Stasi. And shout out to Brian, who says to support you in everything you do. Keep up the good work and pursuing your passion. Thank you. I appreciate you. Apple says Sheila Lee Jackson called on Biden border weird. I'm not sure what you mean. He also says, ABL, how's your new merch site doing? Business good? Hey, everything is just great. You know, I love the site. It's really flexible. I have a lot of control over it, so I like it. Matt World says, Levine, I've snapped. The anti-view says, RIP to 2 dead and mass shooting in Alabama yesterday. Great coverage of it by the media. Thumbs down, exactly. Also, 3 shootings, 4 on 322. Which did y'all hear about? None. not really many, except for the one in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. That might have been a 322. Apple also says, ABL is black community waking up to Democratic corruption. Some of us are still sleeping. It's going to take a long time, but some of us are still just in the Matrix pod, not trying to come out. Apple also says, will black community accept or reject President Kamala? They'll accept her because she's a Democrat, not because she is black or anything else. I mean, look at it like this. If they accepted Joe Biden talking about you ain't black, then why not accept Kamala Harris, who appears to be some kind of black a little bit? Why not? What's the difference? Shout out to Marissa, who says, super chat emoji, thank you for that. I appreciate you for your super sticker. Thank you to the anti-view, who says, Arizona town says border is dropping people off in their parks. No communication, no tests, no plan on where they go next. They declare a state of emergency. Wow. Yeah, because what do? If you have this influx of people coming from all over the world, really, not just Mexico or the Northern Triangle, whatever they call it, but all over the world, I mean, what are you going to do? They got that virus and everything. What are you going to do? And they don't have money to be able to house them or anything. It's like you just created a bunch of homeless people in a town that's probably not used to that at all. Terrenia says, food's down there spending the stimulus checks back in Miami, exactly. The anti-view says, did you see the Bone Thug stimulus check video? I did not see that. But I know what's funny already. Probably the first of the month type thing, right? A little matchup for the first of the month. The anti-view also says $25 an hour for overnight stock at Aldi Warehouse, Minnesota. Now, are those jobs going quick or are they still kind of open? I wonder what the threshold is to actually go work versus not working if you can get the stimulus money and unemployment instead. You see, Big Kahuna says, any thoughts on Candace Owens receiving KKK image on Twitter from Democrats and Twitter defending tweet? Now, what did Twitter say defending the tweet? That's crazy they defended the tweet because Twitter will go over the top to attack someone that does something pretty innocuous. So they defended that? Hold on. Now, that was pretty serious. I think Candace had a police report on that. And here it is. Let me see if I can find it. There. Let me put it up on the screen right quick. So one of these blue checkers, Liam O'Mara, interesting name. Anyway, says, yikes, you may have dropped this. Speaking to Candace, because all Candace said was about the black on black crime stats, which are really real. You know, it's weird how you get attacked for talking about the reality of the black community that you're concerned about, how we're dying. You could say Black Lives Matter, but when you say, hey, Black Lives Matter, look at all these deaths that happen as a result of black people. Oh, now you're a coon. Silly. But anyway, so he tweeted that to her right there, saying, yikes, me have dropped this. It's like some kind of cloth cut into a Klan hood, basically. It's threatening, right? If I was to put a swastika on his front yard, because I could kind of see what kind of guy he is, if I did that, then that'd be a hate crime. So why is it different for Candace Owens? And why is Twitter defending it? You see what I'm saying? Like if I cut a cloth into a swastika and tweeted it at somebody that's Jewish, wouldn't that be the same thing? But I guess it's fine when the person that you're attacking is conservative and you're liberal on Twitter, of course. Yeah, Twitter sucks. It really does. Let me get to the next one here. Shout out to Hold on. Shout out to, well, where am I at here? Terranius says it was the Cheney administration. W had no clue what he was doing. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. Kimmy says, ABL, wish someone was cooking me a dinner. LOL, lucky man. Kamala is not black. CNN staged those pictures. Probably did. Laura says, how are we going to make it through over 3.5 more years of this awful administration? It has only been 2 months, and look at the damage done already. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of damage done so far. Kimmy also says about the border crossing that border patrol officer helped him. Wow. I mean, at a certain point, I'm not even surprised anymore. The anti-view says Biden's body bags with the burrito emoji, hilarious. Apple says, ABO, your description of kids in tinfoil blanket was hilarious. Burritos, barbecue wings, hot dogs, what's the word on the street? Are people waking up to Democrat hypocrisy? Richard said 1984 had fewer Orwellian images. Laura says the dirty Democrats never let a crisis go to waste. And they never do. Never, ever. Lone Wolf says, much respect, ABL. Thank you for existing and doing your thing. You are incredibly needed in the nation right now. Shout out to Terranius who says assault weapons already require a special permit. AR-15 is a single-fire weapon, just has large magazine. And Richard Barnowski says, I already read that one right there. So thank y'all. Did I get everybody? I think I did. Shout out to Tyrone who says, it's not a gun problem. Jim Jones killed 919 with Kool-Aid. Are they going to have Kool-Aid reform? Exactly. Our State Patriot says 12-year-old white kid stabbed in the neck by a black man didn't get much attention. Truly amazing. If it was a black child, white man, it would be riots. Of course. Absolutely. I said this before because, the whole thing about the Miami Spring Breakers that allegedly killed that young white girl. If it were two white men doing that to a black girl, oh my, it'd be, you hear about that every day for years. It would never go away. Hate crime, all this and that. It would never go away. Okay, that's just the reality. And it's unfortunate. That's how it is, but that's just the reality of the situation. Let me see. I got some more here. Shout out to Justin who says, get some swords. Chickens World says, U.S. emoji flags. Thank you to Rawhide Tag. Get yourself something nice. Thank you to Ty Nicholas who says, the right to bear arms is to protect against totalitarian government. The more totalitarian our government becomes, the more they push gun control. Coincidence? Not at all. Not in the least bit. Matter of fact, there was a map that had areas where there was more gun control, and it lined up with, more tyrannical governments, more out of control governments. China, prime example. One world, not one world, but almost one world, but one party government, no real choice in the matter. Yeah, high gun control too. You can't just have a gun in China and just carry that around with you because the government controls everything. You're not really that much of a person. But anyway, thank you to Lily for the super chat emoji with the T. I appreciate you. And I think I pretty much got everybody right there. All right. Thank y'all for joining. Let's go ahead and get to the calls. You guys on the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Hopefully my Skype wants to work properly. That'd be fantastic. If it doesn't, don't blame me, blame the white man. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box below. Also somewhere in the ticker. It could be there right now, but I can't see it. There it is. 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. It's all good. Let me get everything set up and squared away, and then we get rocking and rolling. All righty. Let's go ahead and get this over here. And that's good. Let's go to the settings. Well, the sound actually first. And let's fix this over here. And let's see. Levels in that are good. All right. Let's go ahead and get rocking here. I call you on loudspeaker to 615.
Hey, what's up, ABL? How are you doing?
And not too much, man. What's happening?
Well, first off, I just wanted to say thank you. Not long ago, I watched your 50K Q&A. It was like a 2-hour long video, and you said a lot of things on how you got your channel started. So I started my own, and I just wanted to say thank you about that. And also, I go to UT Chattanooga. I know you don't live too far from there. And I was just wondering if you were going to have any political events, going on down here.
I have one coming up very soon. I'll announce it soon, but it will be around here. I think probably like summertime. But I'll announce it
All right.
like real soon.
Well, that's awesome. One more thing I had to say was the Bojangles right down the street was closed at like 12 p.m., middle of the day, like 2 days after the stimulus checks rolled out. So I don't know if that correlates to what you had to say about that one Crystal place closing down for it. So, I mean, I think it's pretty prevalent in Tennessee too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, was that like downtown or like Bonnie Oaks?
It was Signal Mountain.
Oh, wow. Well, not really surprising. Yeah, not surprising because it's kind of lighted up there to a certain extent, depending upon where you are on the mountain. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they never really had great service anyways, but for them to be closed down, it was really sad. I had to go somewhere else. I went to IHOP that day. So.
Right.
Well, that's all I had to ask you, but thanks for having me on.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, see you.
Yeah, that's pretty wild that Bojangles was closed on Sentinel Mountain. That's like a more affluent area, depending upon where you are on the mountain. I think some of the mountain is like real affluent. People got nice houses, and it's like a rich escape. But the other part is not really like that, as far as I know. So, but also it's close to downtown, which is like kind of hodgepodge. So I won't be surprised because it's like that down there, all over like a lot of these. Like I said before, if you have a family-owned restaurant, then you'll probably be open still because you're not going to abandon your own restaurant because it's yours. But if you're just an employee of a chain like a Bojangles, McDonald's, or whatever, it's like whatever. You don't care. You'll file unemployment, do whatever you want, and just bounce because it's not yours. You don't care. You don't have any ownership in it. So that's why it's really important to own things. Like I'm on Twitter, Facebook, etc., but I got my own website, got my own merch store, I got a lot of my own things that belong to me. So that's very important. Let's get to the next call. 318 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, Lamar. I talked to you a few weeks ago. We're talking about home invasions and the wonderful ability to have a gun. My brother lives in North Las Vegas, has for the last 20-some-odd years. Daytime, first thing in the morning, dropped his kids off at work, come home to get ready. Dropped his kids off at school, rather. Came home to get his self ready for work. And 5 guys, 16, 17, 18 years old, broke in his front door. He dove in his bedroom, got his .380 out of his safe. His wife grabbed the phone, hit the bathroom, locked the door. He wound up shooting 2 of them. He got one in the shoulder and one in the butt. And the one that didn't get away was the one he shot in the butt, and he gave up his buddies.
Of course.
But the wonderful thing was that he had, at that time, all he was packing was .380s and stuff like that. He's considerably armed better now.
Well, hey, that's how you got to be because that could have gone the other direction. And he's got kids and family and everything else. So what if these guys get crazy, they get antsy, and they want to do something to him? It might not be. It might not be here right now to tell the story.
Oh, I know he wouldn't be, and his wife would have probably been raped and or murdered. It's
right.
A good thing the kids were dropped off at school.
Absolutely.
And but he just happened to be running late for work and went back home and was taking his time getting ready. And, it made the local news. It was hilarious because, the the news anchors were cracking up about being a guy getting shot in the derriere, but he held him on the front porch, pistol to his nose, until the police showed up, and like I said, he ratted his other 4 friends out, and they were 16, 17, and 18 years old, and had rap sheets. They all had 7, 8 crimes at least under their belt.
Of course.
But he's he owns a 50 BMG now.
Oh wow. Okay, so he's ready.
and some other things, but
wow.
He's well prepared. He's not a nut, prepper, but he's like, never again is anybody going to even attempt to threaten my family.
That's right, smart man.
So, and I'm the same way.
Absolutely.
You do a great thing. I love your show. Watch you every day. And I'll be super chat coming your way.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Talk to you again. Bye.
Great call. That 50 BMG, that, man, you talking about like a castle. You might as well have a cannon in front of your house. Good night. But hey, I don't blame him at all. You go through that, like that kind of experience, life and death. Oh yeah, I'll be prepared too. I got a few toys in here that, if you want to get crazy, I advise you don't. But that should be anybody. That's everybody's right, or at least it should be, to protect yourself. I don't say go out there. I'm a peaceful guy. I'm all about peace and love and getting together and doing the right thing. And I don't want no problem with nobody. But when you attack me, what am I to do? I'm not going to be a victim. So if somebody's going to be a victim, it ain't going to be me. So if it's just me and you, it ain't going to be me. So it's got to be you. The best way to avoid that would be to leave me alone. Simple. But hey, that might be too hard for some people to understand. Leave people alone. All right, call you on line speaker 2857.
Hey, ABL, man. You got to stop spreading misinformation, man. What's wrong with you, man?
All right, what'd I say?
You got to cut it out, man. You got to cut it out, man. You got to cut it out.
What'd I say?
So you said because a few people quit because they got the $1,400, the payment that was a couple of weeks ago. So you're saying that's because that people quitting their jobs?
I also said unemployment benefits that they get until the end of, like, I think August or September.
No, that's not really true.
Is it? It's not true.
Like I said, there's a bunch of guidelines that you gotta do to continue getting unemployment.
Like what?
Number 2.
Like what? What are the guidelines?
Well, you gotta be looking for a job. You gotta write reports. You gotta be going to interviews. It's not just like that. Now,
no, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, it is true.
Now, have you seen? Wait. Have you seen the recent guidelines for the coronavirus as far as unemployment?
Yeah, I've seen the guidelines.
So have you seen where they said that you can? Wait, sir. You said yes. So have you seen where they said you can quit your job as long as you have good cause and still get unemployment?
But do you know what the good cause is? Do you know what the good cause is?
It doesn't even state. It doesn't state.
Let me tell you what the good causes are. You want me to tell you what the good causes
so
are?
Like, wait, sir, listen. Gotta be quiet when I start talking. Be quiet when I start talking. Now, where are you getting this from? Where's your information? Where's your source?
My source is the same bill. It's the bill. And it's up to the state to decide where the guidelines are. The same guidelines that you're talking about, the same guidelines that were when
So
Trump
what are the
Trump
actual good
administration
causes?
was.
Get to the point. What are the causes?
One of the guidelines is you over 65, or you're a person with a high compromised immune system. You've been to cancer, you've been to some sort of major therapy, or your diabetes out of control. If your doctor recommends for you to quit your job due to coronavirus, then you could quit and you could call unemployment.
Now, is that by each state, or is that just a blanket thing? Because you said by the state first. I ain't saying it's a blanket thing. So which one is it?
That's by the state, but that's this. Well, that's what the.
So which state? So which state is that?
That was the guy.
Sir. Like, I'm running the show. You can't run the show. And we just talk. So which state is that you talking about that says 65 or older or high risk of catching it? What state is that?
New Jersey.
Okay,
New
so
Jersey,
what about the rest of the country?
and Delaware. Most of the states have very tough guidelines.
You named 2
Like I
states.
said,
What about the other
the
48?
same guideline that you're talking about are with the same guideline for the Trump administration.
So you
But they
said 2
decided
states.
to
What about the
up
other
to
48?
states. What do you say?
You named 2 states. What about the other 48? What are their guidelines?
But they have the same guidelines.
So you
If you're a
said
person
it was by the
compromised,
state.
it's the same guidelines.
First you said it was by the state. Now you're saying they got the same guidelines. If it's the same guidelines to each state, then it's not according to each state. It's not a state by state thing. They got the same guidelines. It'd be a national thing because they're all the same. So which one is it? Is it by the state or is it just the same thing across the country? Which one?
It's across the country because they're
So you're
all
changing
coming
your
for
so
overall
why'd
the
you
federal
lie at
government.
first? So why'd you lie at first?
They're all coming for overall the federal government. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What?
So it's not such a thing that they all come for the federal government set up some guidelines, but it's up to the state to come up with more guidelines that they already the federal government has. And one
So
of
the question
guidelines
is, do all states have the same guidelines? Yes or no?
they don't have the same guidelines. Of
So
course not.
like
but
you're
it's
going
no
around in
such a
circles.
thing.
You're going around in circles.
But there's
You're
no
saying
such a thing that you quit your.
first you say that each state has their own guidelines. Then you say Jersey and somewhere else, Delaware. Then I'm like, okay, so do they have the same guidelines across the country? You say, yeah, they got the same guidelines. Now you're saying they don't. So which one is it?
But are you listening to what I'm saying to you? The federal government has a trend. One of the guidelines of the federal government is if your immune system is highly compromised, recommended by a doctor, you could quit your job.
Okay, so that's one guideline. That's one guideline, but it's not the only one, is it?
And then the other, but there's only three or four recommendations that they say. Another recommendation is if you're in a place that is a coronavirus outbreak, and then you got symptoms, then you could quit your job temporarily and get unemployment. And then if your doctor recommend you to stay out of work because you never recover or you catch pneumonia or whatever was the problem, then you could collect unemployment. It's not like you're just going to chill at your house, like you said. It's just not true.
That's happening. That's definitely happening.
You love to make stuff up. That's not true.
There's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of jobs that are available. People don't want to work because they're sitting at home getting their unemployment insurance. That's happening.
That's not true. It's just
it's happening. So what's your next thing? Or I'll move on to the next caller.
Okay. The next thing is another thing that you were mentioning, like reparations. Dude, you have no clue about reparations.
Oh, I don't.
You were mentioning. I think it was Chicago, and then they were saying that you make a video that
Evanston.
in Chicago they were pretty much decided to fund the state local government decided to fund homeowners to pay for repairs and payments. And then you were against it. So okay, so are you in favor of HR 40?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Legislation.
I don't know what that is.
Do you know what it is?
No. What is it?
The HR 40. I think you were discussing.
Sir, just answer the question. What is it?
Okay, you were already somebody about it. HR 40 is a legislation that talks about a study that needs to be done. How much money?
Oh, a study. Okay, yeah. I know what that is. So get to your point though. What's your point?
Then my point is, if we do this study, we get funding for this study, we're gonna know how much money has to be allocated for black people, from farmers.
Man, please, they already know what it is. Like this is an old topic. I'm gonna say something right now because they said they're gonna do a study about reparations and they come up with some money to be able to pay it, but they know how much it's gonna cost. They already know what time it is. Like they got all kind of programs. But when you're talking about the illegal aliens, they don't do no study. They say, hey, okay, let's pass a bill right now. $89.6 million for hotels for illegal aliens. All right. Oh, okay. We got to open up facilities and we got to get food, clothing, shelter, all of that. I don't need no study for that. Ain't no study for catch and release. They do what they want to do right when they want to do it. Ain't going to be no reparations. That's why they say we're going to do a study to stall you. They've been saying the same thing for the past 50 years, 100 years or more. So it's just a stalling tactic, a BS tactic from the Democrats, period. They're not going to do it. That's why they say they're going to study it to stall you.
So because they don't vote in the bill, that's the reason.
What?
That is the reason.
What?
They have to vote, right? In order that's the
vote on what?
You vote in the. They have to vote.
Vote on what? A study?
You have to vote in the legislation.
You got to vote the study?
To get the money to do the study.
So you got to vote to study,
If they
really?
don't vote, they don't want to take the money, right?
Ain't gonna be no look. Ain't gonna be. That's not even gonna happen. This is a stalling tactic. Okay, and then also,
Oh, really?
the thing about reparations in Evanston, all they were going to do is just give you like 25,000 on like 20 families. By the way, in Evanston, 25,000 to fix your roof and stuff like that, home improvements or a mortgage. Even some of the black folks, the woke leftist black folks in Evanston, didn't want it because it wasn't reparations. It was just a home improvement program. It was just like the Habitat for Humanity, basically. So it was bogus. It was just marketed as reparations just to get some woke points. That's it. That's all.
Okay, I got three questions for you.
Well, you
So
don't
did
got that much time. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. I don't got time for 3 questions. You've been on too long anyway. But yeah, so I debated this on RT, and I don't know how you saw that anyway. But anyway, I debated this on RT, and they were talking about, okay, Evanston, Illinois, they're going to have reparations. They're going to do $1 million a year for 10 years. So $1 million each year, right? And they're going to give the first 400,000 to like 20 families to give them 25,000 each to do home improvements or to get a loan. And they're saying that's reparations. But the problem is that there was never slavery in Evanston, let alone Chicago, which is where Evanston pretty much is. It's a northern affluent suburb. There was never slavery there. There was slavery in Illinois at the extreme southern part, close to Kentucky and Missouri. But where Chicago is, there was never any slavery. The only black folks that came at the earliest were freed blacks and also runaway slaves. And then came the Memphis people later to go to, to move on up, basically. That came way later. So when they say they're going to do a study, they're not going to do it. It's a stalling tactic. When it came to LGBT, or we're going to do X, Y, and Z first day. Illegal aliens, X, Y, and Z first day. Black folks, we'll talk about it. Hey, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. That's pretty much what that is. That's what he said out there on the campaign trail. But I digress. Let's get to the next call. Okay. 203, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
X, Y, Z. First.
Hello?
Yes.
X, Y, first.
This is Anthony?
Yes, it is.
Oh, hi, Anthony. I'm calling from Connecticut.
All righty. What's going on?
What's up? I'm sorry that I had you on speaker for a minute, but I'm calling because you had a caller that was talking about somebody breaking into his friend's house and what have you. And I live in a heavily blue state, unfortunately, and we can't move out of here right now. But I love me some Trump. Anyway, my point is that these dudes broke into this guy's house in the middle of the night while the owner of the house was sleeping, and he woke up and he shot one of them, and he went to jail for shooting an intruder.
So hold on, let's pause for a minute. So the victim of the home invasion went to jail for shooting one of the intruders?
Yes.
I mean,
he went to jail for killing. I don't remember if he killed him or I know he shot him, but these were like 3 guys in the middle of the night. You're sleeping with your wife and your children in the house. You feel somebody. You hear them breaking the door down. You pop out your whatever gun he had, and he shot one of them. And he's in jail till today still.
Wow.
Because he shot an intruder. This is the crazy state that I live in.
Now, okay, how long did he get in penitentiary for doing that?
Well, right now, you know how the court system is like turtle slow, so he's still going through the process, but he's still in jail.
Okay.
So he's doing time without getting sentenced yet.
Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I mean,
and I just needed to let you know that because this is crazy where I live. Where I live is a bunch of Looney Tunes.
So it's like, what do you do in a situation where somebody breaks in your home? Like, what do you do?
Well, the reason why this is their logic, which is stupid. Their logic is that he had no right to shoot the intruder because the intruder didn't have a gun himself.
I mean, how can he know that? How can he know that? It's like, okay, you hear the glass breaking, the door breaking down, the wood or whatever, and he's in your home at night. You don't know what he has, and you waking up from his sleep. You have to just instantly make a reaction. he could come in there and shoot you in the blink of an eye. So you have to be able to act. So that's not a good excuse for them to try to use against him.
I mean, I think that I was born in the wrong state for real, because I mean the guy that got shot in the living room. Okay, but we don't know what their intentions were. We don't know anything. First of all, if you're in my house, I should have the right to shoot you, especially in the middle of the night, and I'm alone with my children, right?
Right.
I should shoot you. You're
Absolutely.
in my house. I'm not in your house.
100%. That should be castle doctrine all day long. That's why I like living here in Tennessee, like living in the South, because you got to have the castle doctrine. And because if you don't, it's like, what's the point of having a door, a lock on your door? Just leave it wide open.
Exactly. And if somebody breaks in and I'm not supposed to be able to shoot you because I'm gonna be the criminal, that's insanity right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's what comes with living in a blue state. And then I had a question for you.
All right.
I'm Puerto Rican. I'm first generation in the United States. But I have a question about reparations, right? Like, since kindergarten, I've always been around heavily Black neighborhoods, and I never really hung out with my own peoples because I thought my own peoples were corny. They like salsa merengue and all that Spanish stuff, and I like their rap and Dougie Fresh and all that, you know? So I always used to be with them. So it's nothing racist. But I have a question about reparations. Do you think if they do reparations, do you think that the reparations should only go for the people who have never, ever got food stamps, welfare, Section 8, or housing because they already got their reparations, them and their children and their mama and whoever else?
You know what? That's funny, but see, they would say that they're the ones that need it the most because, and then what the excuse would be is that the government has failed to lift them out of poverty in spite of all these programs. So now they got to have more programs to fix the wrongs that were done. So they're going to be the main ones that say they want it. Adding anybody, that'd be the main group right there. So I don't think you'd be able to get that one. Like, and really,
No,
huh?
No, it's just because, like I said, like I was raised around these people. I love them, but at the same time, I go for the right is right and what's wrong is wrong. You go into their house. First of all, they don't pay utilities, all right? They don't pay rent, all right? If they pay any, it'll be $14, and they get a check taped on their door every month for utility allowance. I don't know what that means, but it's over $100, okay? And you go into their house, they got the biggest 70-inch screen TV. They all got Jordans. They all got every kind of system the boys be playing. And I'm over here struggling with just 3 items in my cart because I don't get food stamps. And I'm a single mother. You know, so I think they got their reparations and then some. And I don't think they're poor. I think I'm poor.
Yeah, they're not poor. That's the whole thing because I feel the same way you do. I know days where I had like $20 in my pocket. I'm in the store getting the bag of rice and some chicken breast, trying to make it through the week. And then you see somebody else. First of all, they bought 800 pounds, right? And then they got the cart loaded up with every kind of snacks and all. We live in the same place, the same hood or whatever, but you got your cart loaded up and mine is bare. So it's like, how you gonna say that you're sitting here poor and in poverty? You get all kind of benefits, all kind of things. And that right there kind of points to why government benefits don't even work. You get all these things afforded to you, yet you're still in the same position. We live in the same place, but you got all these things given to you. Why haven't you been able to use this to get out of poverty? Because it keeps you in poverty because you want to keep getting those checks, getting those benefits, and spend it improperly. So that points to the whole thing about the benefits not even really working for their intended purpose.
Yeah, to me, that situation goes with why we should not spoil our children. Because if you spoil your child will grow up ungrateful and unthankful and a crybaby. And I think that this situation falls into they got spoiled, and now they're blaming their laziness and then lack of wanting to move ahead, because there are some that did move ahead, got out of it, are lawyers, are doctors, because they had the drive to get out of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But I don't know. I think it's just the same as they're spoiled brats now. It's just like a spoiled child.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. I love your show, and I thank you for doing what you do, and I'm glad that I got to talk to you.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, have a good night.
Same to you.
Bye.
Yeah, great call. Excellent call. That's what I mean. Reparations ain't nothing but another government benefit. It's the same thing. Okay, you want another government check, a bigger check, and it would never be the end. It would always be the next one, and the next one, and the next one. It's always wanting more. And really, these government benefits, they reduce the drive to innovate, to go beyond where you are. It keeps you kind of enslaved, really. Like somebody said it earlier, it keeps you enslaved. You got to be hungry to want to go out there and try to make something happen to get some food, like I was. That's why I have been able to rise above that. And a lot of people that are still kind of on that government plantation, really, which is what it is, they are addicted to just that lifestyle to where everything is just handed to them to live in that kind of mediocre or well below average lifestyle. It's a shame, but it is what it is, 601, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Justice. What's up?
Everything's all right, man. What's going on?
It's raining right now. just left the mall. Got me a little Nike I'll watch band. You already know.
Okay.
Hey, I wanted to. I'm sorry, I didn't get the call the last 3 times because I've been busy with work and stuff. And I've been back on day shift, so like when you have your logs, I'm like way too tired to like call you. I'm either at the gym or running or playing the games, playing Madden 21. You already. I remember last time I told you I was going to debate you. I don't know if you're I don't want to debate you right now though, but I do want to ask you about something.
Okay, go for it.
So, all right, when I always watch your videos, I'm eating my Mario fruit snacks, watching your videos, drinking my Capri Sun. You always go back, like when something happens. So, for example, when the Atlanta shooting happened, you brought up black on black crime, right?
Yep.
And I hear you do that a lot. So, and you already know what my job is. So I had to look back on it. And when I look back at all the statistics and everything, when you talk about murders, yes, the black on black crime is higher than everybody else's. But if you look at everything else from rape to robbery to vehicle theft to arson to simple assault, everything like that, vandalism, when it comes to like whites versus black per percentage, it's like 3 times higher in everything else. The only black people beat white people in murder, but that's it. That's only it. Everything else is beat by like 3 times to 5 times more, and it's by percentage. So my question is, why don't people ever talk about all the other crimes that happen? It's always just murder. It's never drug abuse and drunk and vagrancy and none of that. It's always just murder. It's always the murder part. But because I feel like that's their only thing to go on, because if they went with anything else, then it would be a W for black and L for whites. So why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, the reason why, like, I'm just saying that what you're saying is true. I don't have any facts in front of me, but let's just say what you're saying is true about robbery and theft and things like that being much higher among whites than blacks as far as the percentage of the population. It's because whites are a higher percentage of the population wise. Okay. 60 to 65% of the population in America are white compared to about 13% of the population that are black. So if everything is equal and in proportion, white should be the leading people that do all the crimes percentage wise because there are more of them. It's simple. Blacks are the number 3 minority behind Hispanics at about 20%. Whites are about 65%. So we shouldn't be as high as what we are at all. Whites should be the highest in everything. The issue with black on black crime and the murder and the violence is how out of proportion it is. We shouldn't be 13% of the population and account for half of the murders. We should be 13% of the population and 13% of the murders. That's right in line. That makes sense. Like, we have a way out of proportion crime rate among us. White should be the highest, but they're not, because you have blacks and to a certain extent Hispanics that are more than whites are. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. I don't. You do know what we're third, right?
The what
And
now?
not second. I said you do know I would be third and not second, right?
Yeah, we're third, yeah, behind Hispanics.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't really keep up with the population when everybody's coming across. That's not really even fair.
Well,
But
also,
so
oh,
really
wait,
should be
also, hold
second.
on, because at one point in time, there were certain parts of the country where we were more than whites. The issue is a lack of immigration, of course, number one, but number two, the abortion. The abortion is crazy in the black community. Plus, the black on black violence, the murder. I mean, if we kill each other so much, and we abort the babies, how are we going to have high population? The birth rate in the black community is also very low. It's like 1.89, which is below replacement, which is 2.1. Whites have a lower birth rate than us, but they have a high population anyway. But they're declining in population because they got a low birth rate, and you have Hispanics that have a higher rate of coming into the country, and they got a very high birth rate. But blacks got a very low birth rate because of abortion, and also we got a high rate of death because of murder and bad lifestyle.
I got a question about that though. Like, maybe I don't know any black woman that has had an abortion. Like, why don't I know this?
I mean, are they going to tell you? Are they going to advertise it to you?
Abortion.
Are they going to be like, you know what, I had an abortion? Are they going to just tell you that?
I mean, it would kind of be easy though. Like, if you know your friend's pregnant and 7 months later she's not pregnant anymore, you never see the baby, then But like, just right off the rip, like, I just haven't had any. I don't know anybody personally that's had an abortion.
I mean, you don't know because they ain't tell you, because you can have an abortion pretty early, 1 month, 2 months, and just go ahead and she may not be necessarily showing before she has an abortion. That's not really how that works.
I'm going off of like girls that have been on Snapchat and Instagram and show their baby pictures in the stomach, with the little radar. I don't know how they do. I don't know how the doctors do that.
I mean, if they're doing that, if they're showing the baby, they want to have the baby. Then you're not going to see a person that has an abortion go through all the Snapchat and say, "Hey, we having they're not going to do that if they want to have the baby.
And I do have another thing. About the Asian crime. Now, who do you think commits the most crime when it comes to Asians?
Like, as far as what kind of crime?
Like, in general, like, all right, hate crimes. Let's say hate. Let's just say hate crimes.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Wait. What do you say?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I heard you. All right. So I went on that too. Now, thankfully, I had some help on this one. Now, when it comes to black on Asian crime, it's not a hate. But most of those aren't hate crimes at all. It's called location crime, right? So,
like, what is that? What is a location crime?
Okay, so basically, a crime's going to if you're located in an area around black people, for instance, nail shops, barber salons in inner cities that a lot of Asian Americans will own, gas stations. They're most likely, and it's in a black area, then they're most likely to have that crime committed against them by a black person because they're in a black area. But when it comes to arson and like actual hate crimes, like get out of my neighborhood and stuff, most Asians live in Caucasian neighborhoods. Majority of Asians live in Asian communities or white communities. None of them really live in actual black communities.
So do we have any stats to back this up?
Yes, you can. Actually, you can go to the Office of Justice Prevention.gov, and it will bring up a lot of those stats.
Okay, now again, remember, there should be more crimes committed by whites against everyone because they're the higher population. So that should happen. So it's not you can't just use that and be like, see, they're higher. No, it should be. It should be in proportion with their population percentage. But let's say you have 40% of the hate crimes against Asians committed by whites and 30% committed by blacks. That's the white percentage is more, but it's not more because there's a higher prevalence of it among blacks than there is whites, because the population percentage is higher than their percentage of the crime committed versus blacks who have a higher, a lower population than the percentage of the crime committed against the Asians. You see what I'm saying? So look at it that way. Don't look at it just like the sheer number. Look at the ratio among the community that does it. Look at the percentage and how often it's committed in one community versus the other.
All right. Well, I have a question. Did you finally? I know you had posted the
Well,
video.
I got like no more time on this call, so make it pretty quick, please.
Okay. Well, I'll make it quick. So you posted a video about 2-3 days ago when the American, I guess American, I don't know who it was, but it was a white guy reading. You said he was reading a teleprompt and he was talking to the Asians. I realized you cut off the part where the people from China. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't.
Okay, well, anyway, you posted a video about China coming over here, and they were talking to this white guy. You was talking about like how he's reading he's talking about how he's reading from teleprompter.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
That. Okay, well, yeah. So anyway, and if you kept watching the rest of the video, so
quickly, come on, man, quick.
Okay, I'll tell it next call. I'll just call again.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so you're talking about the when Tony Blinken went to Anchorage, Alaska for the Chinese delegation, speak to them, the little Chinese summit, and then Tony Blinken was reading from the sheet of paper, real just kind of like pocket protector type of, just reading from the sheet of paper, not talking in a way that's like conversational, just reading prepared statements. On the other hand, the Chinese guy was just body language is right in front, doing all this type of action right here, talking straight to him. Not reading no notes or nothing, just just talking that way. It was a crazy thing to witness. It was really embarrassing, quite frankly, for Americans to see China speak to us that way at an event. If that was Trump on his administration, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be like that. But they do it under Biden because they don't respect Biden. They know Biden's a puppet, and he's just put there by the Democratic Party to do whatever they say. All this woke stuff. They don't respect that woke stuff. 540, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Virginia boys over here. What's going on?
Ain't too much, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. Hey, I have a real question for you. Mr. Joe Biden over here, what is he talking about assault weapons? I've always been told that a butter knife can be an assault weapon.
Hey, same thing. I mean, I done seen people get hit in the head with a BlackBerry phone, with a if you got a mom that's kind of violent, it could be a sandal or whatever it is. She could throw that at you. That could be an assault weapon. So yeah, that's what I thought as well. But I guess maybe I'm wrong. But at the same time, I've not been told what an assault weapon is really.
Yeah, apparently we're all wrong. Hey, man, I'm going to let you go. Good show tonight, man. I appreciate it. You're an amazing dude, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Virginia. Woo!
All right, now. Yeah, shout out to Virginia. That 540, that's that Roanoke area. I know about that. Yeah, my granny and them had that 540 number. Because they used to live out in Roanoke. All righty. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. If you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and get the video a thumbs up. I'd most certainly appreciate it if you did. But yeah, Tony Blinken's got to go. Tony Blinken is a cold nut. Let's get to the next call. 814, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Area. I know about that.
Is this ABL?
Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, my God. ABL. I love you to death. I just want to say thank you for doing what you do. It's crazy. I'm in my mid-20s, and my half-brother brought me on to you last summer. And you have been such an influential part of my day every single day, and I just can't thank you enough. I don't have any message to push or channel to push. I just want to say thank you so much for what you do, and I love to hear your message every single day, and I love to hear your podcast.
Well, thank you for that, man. It means a lot to me for your support. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, God bless. I can't wait to hear myself a minute from now on your on the podcast, and God bless. And just I hope that you get to not only 1 million but 2 million subscribers. Oh, quick question though. Do you ever think about going on the Tim Pool podcast?
I'd love to. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. I go up there. It'd be a great time.
I was gonna say, because I don't think that's too far from Tennessee, which I think is where you're from. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, that ain't nothing but a plane ride. I go over there, no problem.
Okay, yeah, I thought that you'd make a perfect guest. Anyway, have a great night, and I'm just so excited to talk to you. It's a blessing. Have a good night.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Appreciate him. 100%. Let's get to a few more here. Number to call, 434-658-1220. And 423, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 423, hello. I cannot hear you if you're talking. All right, 423 going once, going twice. Sorry, I don't know what happened, but you got to be ready to talk on the phone. If you're calling in, be prepared. How about it, Jordan? What's going on?
What up, ABL?
Ain't too much, man. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much, man. Been busy lately. I get the chance to come and chat.
No doubt.
You know, somebody got date raped and killed in Miami. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, it was
yeah.
young white girl and 2 black male suspects. But since that was the racist, you're not gonna see that on the news at all. But if it was the other way around, oh my, you're talking about hate crime, Black Lives Matter, all of that would be out there.
Yeah, it really sucks that, it's unfortunate. This has become commonplace that I can't go to a party that's dominated by black individuals without having to bring like a gun or something, like something to protect yourself.
You know what? My thing is, if you got to bring a pistol to a party, don't go. just don't. Just don't.
'Cause I remember somebody close to mine was at a party and gunshots were going off and they had to flee. And so party gets cut off like that and you just get yourself in trouble. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
And for the border pictures, Sean King posted on his Twitter that he was concerned that people were griping about Donald Trump in the border, but not Biden in the border. I think he tweeted that out.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
I was like, geez, if Sean King, Martin Luther Keyboard, Malcolm X, if he has to call the Biden administration out, you got a problem. But let's be real here. He'll probably still vote for him.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's facts.
Yeah, he's gonna. Your previous caller from a show back mentioned it. You can criticize these people all you want, but if you still stand by them, they're gonna keep doing the same stuff. They'll still, do, even if like Biden could literally put black people back in the slave days, put literally in chains, and they'll still back him at this point.
Right.
Like it's insane.
It is. It really is.
But it's like, what was I gonna say? It's kind of like video games. Like if you can criticize like somebody for all like bugs and stuff in your games and not being complete and whatnot, but if you keep pre-ordering or buying games the day they come out from this company, they're still gonna keep doing it. So people have to understand that you need to give them incentive to actually go like do things to improve upon your lives instead of just blindly supporting them all the time and them just giving you the finger.
Right, of course.
And lastly, before I go, about the weapons ban, there have been ever since the whole Asian American attack spree going on, whatever that's going on, which by the way, it's only like a tiny spike. The hate crimes against Asian Americans have actually been very low since the 1990s, but people will blow it up as a big issue. Asian Americans are actually buying more guns now. There's been a spike in at San Francisco for Asian Americans buying guns and pepper spray.
Oh, of course, yeah, because they know what time it is. They want to defend themselves. Like they're watching the news. They think it might be a problem out there, and they're going to defend themselves. They're not, that's right on it. And I think that might be the opposite of what the media wanted them to do. They want them to go out there and try to buy weapons to defend themselves. They wanted just to scare them, but they're not going to be scared. They be prepared.
Yeah, and I think I think I know why this is kind of happened. Why Asian Americans are usually like the butt of these attacks. There was an incident in France back in 2016. There was a North Africans were in a stabbing spree in France in an area where Chinese immigrants congregated, and people were wondering why they were getting killed, and because they didn't do anything, they didn't cite that. Instead, what was said was, "Oh, they got big cars and nice houses. They have businesses and enterprises. That's not fair." So when you look at like situation with Asian Americans in this country, where they're the most successful group of Americans, more than white people, have the highest average income in the country, you start to see a little envy and jealousy, which breeds into hatred. And since the stereotype is that their build is not that significant, like their physical build, they're not like strong, buff people.
Right.
You could take advantage of them. So that's why, and especially the old folks, that you could just take their wallet or just screw with them.
Right.
That seems to be the idea.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And then, that people just, I don't know, they kind of feed into a lot of what the media says, sometimes for negative reasons as well. And a lot of times, a lot of the things that happen, they kind of get blown out of proportion because of the media. Like, for example, somebody might get cursed out on a train like normal. Like if you're in New York somewhere, you might have some crazy dude, some bum that's probably got mental problems, cussing at everybody, and then he cusses at an Asian person, and that gets put in the news as some kind of big thing when that's always happening to everybody, not just the Asian person.
Yeah, they'll brand it as a racist act. Like the guy who shot up the those six Asian girls or whatever, that really could have been other things, but because it's six Asian women, it has to be a racist thing.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, but I mean, I don't know. The press have control of that narrative, and the narrative will be it's racist. Trevor Noah's been complaining about it. The press has been complaining about it. It's just I don't know. It's something that I can't escape, and it's sad when you have your narrative in front before we even get all the facts out. Like
That's right.
your confirmation bias is already there.
Exactly.
But I'll bail. I think I've been long enough. I'll be in chat, and I'll talk to you later, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, Charles Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Great call. Let's get to the next one. 412, you're in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. My name's Joseph. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All righty, glad you're on the line. So what's on your mind?
Well, I've been watching your show for years. You are just an amazing person. I have so much respect for you. There's so many things to talk about, but I think one thing that's important that not a lot of people think about is that what brought us all together in our movement 5 so years ago was, our core beliefs and values. And our opposition has done so many things to disrupt, our mission. And it's kind of changed, we shouldn't let it change who we are and detour us from our mission. I just see so many people developing hatred and, all the things that I don't like about the left, which is their just tendency for violence and hatred towards people. And, just from my experience, I just see that it's kind of come a little bit contagious, and that the people that I'm close to have developed that same sort of hatred back towards them. And I guess we just shouldn't let them turn us into them. And that's just all I really wanted to say.
Well, you make a lot of points. Make a lot of good points, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I love you, brother. And to everybody listen, love you too. All right, have a great night.
Thank you, man. All right, let's get to some more here. Let's go All righty. Hold on. All right, calling you online, speaker 2707.
Hey, ABL, this is Amy. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. Wanted to circle back quick to the gal, not to assume, pronouns or genders or anything like that, but she was from Connecticut that talked about the gun laws there, and very, very similar in Minnesota. I actually been around guns, been hunting my whole life, and I have my concealed carry. Before I lost all my guns in a very tragic accident where they, went into a riverbed after a mudslide. So I don't have them anymore. But, when I was carrying basically the concealed carry class in Minnesota, it tells you about how these are all the instances where you can never shoot somebody. Like, then what's the point? Like, I'm not carrying to shoot somebody, but if something happens, if somebody comes into my house, I'm going to defend my house, and I'm going to make sure that you are not getting to my children, number one,
Right.
and I'll die for them. And if I defend my home and defend my children, I'm now going to go to jail, and it's even worse with everything, happening in Minnesota. But the other thing, am I correct that you went to a community college?
Yes.
Okay, I did too, and I am very much a fan of utilizing as much as you can, as cheap as you can, that will transfer. I recommend to kids all day long that they should be doing post-secondary, it's called here, where you can take college courses your senior year and knock out some of those generals. But I have a friend who's in a community college here in Minnesota, and she sent me a post. She's going to be a nurse, and I'm super proud of her, right? She's straightening her life out, and she's wonderful. She sent me a post, and it's talking about Minnesota today. And on one side, it says dominant, and on the other side, it says non-dominant. Now, on one side, it says white, the other community of colors. One side, men, the other side, women. Higher education, less education. Christian, other faiths. And, heterosexual, LGBT, whatever. The one that I have actually a question to you about is it says temporarily able-bodied versus disabled. I did a little more research into this, and there is a push to change the term able-bodied to temporarily able-bodied, because able-bodied is offensive, because not everybody is able-bodied and not everybody is ever going to be able-bodied. So we're all in a temporary able-bodied state.
Wow,
Any thoughts on that?
So temporarily able-bodied. So I mean, it's like, okay, if you're born with no legs, how is that gonna really change? Like, you might be able to get some kind of prosthetics, but you're not fully able. So how does that really make any sense?
100%. And I kind of went down this rabbit hole because that's what I do. I've told you about my group, very small, the anti-view. I just go down a little rabbit hole, and my friend sent this to me. And so I tried to find where this came from, and it was like a 2007 article. And the people that wrote it, the disabled feminist group is actually what they're called. It just makes me laugh anyways. I digress, which I learned from you. They wrote a pretty decent piece about how, the only thing in life that's temporary is youth and life itself, which is true, because you only have your youth for so long and you're only here on this earth for so long. The only thing guaranteed is that you're going to pass, depending on what you believe, whatever happens next. But I am a nurse. I have worked with 99-year-old men who drive themselves to Hardee's every day at 6 a.m. to get their coffee and their breakfast sandwich, and they are able-bodied, and they die in their sleep. So why are we why are we demeaning them? Because I tell you, if you tell a 99-year-old man today, you're temporarily able-bodied, he might punch you in the face.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Especially if he's a vet, because he has no patience for that.
Not at all. Not in the least bit.
So I thank you for everything that you do. And also shout out to your wife, everything that she does. And I hope that you have a great night, and I enjoy listening.
Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, bye.
That is crazy. Like a lot of these things, my question is, okay, they have all these little lists of things you could say, right? These approved things you could say rather than saying disabled, temporarily able-bodied. If there's all these things that are out there, my question is, who is actually using these? Who's saying them? Who's actually abiding by these rules they have? It's crazy. 215 on the line, who am I speaking to?
Oh, ABL.
Yes,
my
indeed.
favorite American. How are you?
All right, can't complain.
Thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
I just wanted to say thank you again. I called several months ago to thank you for the work that you do, and I wanted to also tell you that during the election, you were the first source that I went to for coverage and for analysis. Before anybody on the news, before Larry Elder, before anybody else, you were the first person I called. I watched. Your analysis was excellent.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
And I followed you post-election. Your analysis again was excellent, and you were my source. And then after when it appeared that we were going where we've ended up, I kind of took a pause from social media, and I haven't watched you in quite some time. And I think I revisited you when Coca-Cola started to make its employees make peace with how white they were, and how to give up being white or whatever their policy was at the time. So I'm glad I'm back watching you. I think you're just like that other fellow said. I'm very grateful for the work that you do. And it was interesting. I was listening to Jordan Peterson the other day, and he had said that television is dead. And for someone my age, it was kind of difficult for me to kind of reconcile. I keep waiting for television to come back with meaningful information or thoughtful programming. And I realized he was absolutely correct, and that YouTube is actually the new source of information, entertainment, and whatnot. And you're it. You're at the top of the list.
Well, thank you for that. It means a lot to me.
So I just wanted to share that with you, and just to say thank you again for all your hard work and your contribution to speaking for those of us who don't have a platform to say what needs to be said. Appreciate it, and I appreciate your kindness and your patience with your audience.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take good care of yourself.
All right, now same to you.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's get to the next one here. And let's go 330. You don't line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Andrew from Ohio.
All righty. What's going on?
How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Can't complain. About yourself?
Oh, man, this is the first time I'm talking to you. I tried to call on Saturday. You're always busy. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I wanted to talk about, I guess, just on every political issue, it seems. I'm a former Democrat. I think you're a former Democrat. Just, we are right on every issue. Let's take like minimum wage for example. 2.3% of Americans make minimum wage. So how would raising the minimum wage fix any of the problems? It's absurd to me. I just wanted your opinion on something like that.
Yeah, people that push for things like that, I think they're just trying to get votes. They're just trying to get elected, because people that are kind of ignorant think that it might be a good thing to have the minimum wage increased. They don't really think. They're not thinking about what the effects of this are going to be. Can people afford it? They're not really thinking about that. They think they're going to get a raise and it's great, but they're not looking any deeper than that. It's just people that are in politics taking advantage of ignorant people. That's all.
And on issues like global warming and stuff, there was a Roman warm period between I think it was 300 BC to 200 AD. Humans didn't cause that. There was a warm period during the Middle Ages. Humans didn't cause that. And first of all, those were good things. The Roman Empire flourished. The Middle Ages, things were coming back. I don't understand how liberals are thinking about this global warming issue. It's just absurd to me. And when Trump didn't go against this issue in the first debate, it really upset me because during the presidential debates, this is the time where Democrats have to explain their policies. They don't have propaganda tools. They don't have the media. It's just Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. And Trump, just the fact that he didn't do that one debate when you have the audience, even though it just upsets me because we only had 2 debates. And I just want to hear your thoughts about that one too.
Okay, what's your exact question there?
On the global warming, I think we need to go more offensive on this. There was a volcano in 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia. It caused a year without summer. Humans didn't cause that year without summer. It was a volcano. We are not the cause of global warming. And Democrats, they just keep harping on this. And we just need to go more offensive on this. It's just, and I just want to hear your thoughts about that.
Well, I'm not really sure how, but I mean, again, it's the same thing with minimum wage. This is just a bunch of ignorant people. It's people that are ignorant and don't know anything about weather and things of that nature, in my opinion, being taken advantage of by politicos and people like Al Gore trying to get some money from it. It's like, okay, I'll talk about it in my own way, just put out things that make sense. It's like, okay, you have Al Gore talking about how he's this climate change guy. I mean, look at some of his old interviews. The things that he was saying back then have changed. It's like, okay, why has your stance changed? I mean, back in the 90s, he's talking about acid rain and the ozone layer. Why is that all of a sudden not a thing anymore? Is it because weather changes as normal and things just kind of move? Like, I don't know, that the biggest thing in the sky called the sun, if there's any kind of slight little bit of difference in the sun, it'll change the whole world. I mean, we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that are just trying to get money. And then look at the way he lives his life. Big, crazy mansion, gigantic carbon footprint, private planes. He's not even following his own advice. And the things that he said back in the 90s are different now because he's just going with whatever is popular. First, it was global cooling back in the 70s or whatever. Then it became global warming. Now it's climate change. They always move the goalposts to fit whatever narrative was popular at the time. It's bogus. And I think the best way to expose it as a bogus industry is to keep putting out real information to counteract the false information.
Absolutely. And there's something, it's just Democrat privilege. They get away with anything, and you can't even challenge any issue that they could say whatever they want. And if you watch Fox News, there's Democrats. There is a Democrat on the 5 I was watching today. There's always someone challenging that host. And I don't see that on CNN. I don't see that on MSNBC. Not that I watch that very much, but when I do, I don't see anyone challenging their beliefs. I just cannot believe that I think deep down they know they're wrong, and they don't even want to be challenged on it. And it's just so upsetting to me that they get away with this. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And just I'll close with this. Just look at the federal government, the size of the government, and every department, every part of the economy, government has regulations over. And I don't know if we will ever be able to get rid of the swamp. Agriculture, commerce, labor, education, energy, health and human services, transportation, homeland security, housing and urban development. The government is just so big. And every year since 1989, government employee, when you include state and local, has exceeded manufacturing employment. So we got more people that have jobs collecting our taxes than we have making products. It's just absurd to me. And I don't know how we're going to recover from this if Democrats keep getting elected. It's just absurd.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I know. All righty. Let's get to some more here. 708, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, how you doing tonight, bro? How's the weather in Tennessee?
Everything's all right out here. How about yourself?
I'm living it up, man, down here in Texas. Hey, I wanted to run a couple things by you. First, guns, and then the coronavirus. A real quick question. Do you have the ability to pull up a Google image to show the audience, or do I just got to describe it?
Well, I might be able to. What you want me to pull up?
A real famous photo, Martin Luther King looking out his front window with a bullet hole in it.
You said MLK, Minnesota?
It's just a photo, real famous image, Martin Luther King standing there in his living room, looking out his front window with a bullet hole in it. Then there's another image, Malcolm X, standing in his living room looking out the front window, holding a Mini 14.
Yeah. I've seen that one.
Yeah. And so those two images really contrast the gun debate going down right now. Both of those men, stood for what they stood for, heroes in all their own ways, and obviously got their flaws and some of their own. But both dudes had firebombs thrown in their house, bullets shot through their windows for standing up for what they believe in, right?
Right.
On the day Martin Luther King got a firebomb through his window, the next day he went to the police department to try to get a gun permit, and they denied him for the gun, right? So, the question is, if you were that man or, that household owner standing there looking out your front window, would you rather be the person who had the ability to protect themselves from somebody who brought the fight to their front lawn, or the person who the government said no to? And I think that value, that we miss that, we get hung up in the nitty gritty in the gun debate, and we can't agree that, both of those men should have been able to have a rifle sitting there looking out their window.
That's right. Absolutely.
Wanted to run that by you. And the icing on the cake, Malcolm X got a 30-round clip in his assault rifle, and he's got 2 mags duct taped together. So yeah, thought that's a pretty good image that we could bring to the table to maybe get to the core of the gun debate.
Oh, absolutely. That's a very good point you make.
I appreciate it. And the other thing was the coronavirus. Not trying to spread any medical misinformation to the YouTube safety police, but if you pull up the CDC's numbers, they have the excess death count on 2020. And if you look up, I just pulled it up before I called. I didn't see the most recent one, but they had one from the beginning of the pandemic until October. And they said at that point there was about 300,000, 350,000 deaths of COVID. And they said there was excess deaths of about 500,000, meaning over the historical averages. And so, according to the CDC, only 2/3 of the excess deaths over the historical averages are COVID. Again, according to the CDC. So 1/3 of the excess deaths over 2020 are not COVID. And so we're talking about a couple 100,000 people. And I want to know why nobody asking questions about that. Why is there a couple 100,000 people dead over the historical average, not attributed to COVID, and nobody's really looking at that?
That's a good point. I've heard that, but I've not really heard it in that way. I've heard about the excess deaths, but I mean, it's a good question to ask. And I think that once you look into it, you may find some disturbing things. You may find suicide, drug overdose, and things like that, because people are locked down, they can't work, and that's probably what, if you look into it, that's probably what you see.
And delayed medical stuff, and deaths and the list goes on. And they cry, oh, just one death is too many, just one death, and they don't even pay it. They don't even bat an eye at. It's a huge question, and then, you lump in all the other questions about the way they take the numbers and count it up. There's a lot of legitimate questions in there. And, the Cuomo thing, how all of a sudden there's this Cuomo scandal, and it's obviously a smokescreen. The sex thing is a smokescreen for the nursing home thing, right?
Of course.
And it's because if they don't care about Cuomo, they'll throw him to the side. But if they start tugging on that nursing home string, it's going to unravel, obviously, Whitmer and the whole rest of those governors, too. But then I think if people start sniffing into these numbers, we're going to find something different. And I'll close with just saying the same people that sold us WMD Iraq sold us COVID lockdown. It all came from China and the WHO. Hey, lockdown, it's the only way. And now here we are, complete destroyed economy, 100,000 dead, and got a lot of questions.
That's right, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you too, bro. I wanted to say thanks for letting us call in. You're always real respectful with your guests, much more so than a lot of YouTubers. So appreciate you, bro. Have a great night.
Thank you, man. All righty, let's get to some more here. Let's go. 254, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, what's up, ABL? You're awesome. You're amazing. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, man.
Goodbye.
Appreciate it. All right. Hey, great call. Like drive through just positive affirmation. I appreciate it. All right. Let's go. 416, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony.
Yes.
It's Cigar Box here, man.
All right, Cigar Box, what's happening?
I had a theory. Now that we've got the reparations going through, right? If they're going to be paying them off, why don't we have anybody who is any color? So white, candy stripe, Puerto Rican, whatever, like you said, man. And have them just go and say, I want reparations. And they'll say, well, this is only for black descendants of slaves. And you say, but I identify as a black descendant of a slave. What are they going to say? Like you could say, okay, fine, then give me the blood test. I don't give a crap, because it's going to be the same thing as when we say you're only allowed to have, in our opinion, you're only allowed to have girls play girls in women's sports, and not these biological men that are, Franken women or whatever you want to call them, play there. And they'll say, well, that's different. No, it's not different, because this is the way it is. And if you don't agree with the way that we're looking at it, then you are trans race phobic.
Well, that's going to happen already, because you see people right now that are white that pretend to be black, like Sean King, Richard Dolezal, and they're getting plenty of benefits. I'm talking about one guy went to college for free because he thought he was black, gave him a black scholarship. Like, that's already happening right now. So it'll definitely happen when we have reparations roll around. And then they'll be like, okay, I'm black. Well, you don't look black. Well, look, you're racist against me. I'm calling the EEOC. I'm calling the police. I'm calling somebody to file a complaint here. And then the reality is a lot of people who are white really may have a black ancestor. Okay, like their great-great-great-grandparent could have been 1/4 black. So now that they look like, Bill Gates, are they not black anymore?
Meghan Markle.
Like not even Meghan Markle. They look straight like Bill Gates. Like you can't even see a tan. They look like they straight came from Sweden yesterday. Blonde hair, blue eye. But yeah, my great-great-great-great-grandfather was 1/4 black. So reparations now. What's up? And what are you gonna say?
Well, yeah, that's just the whole thing.
If I was one of them, I'll bring a picture from back then of this person, and like, okay, that's Mariah Carey right there, Meghan Markle or whatever. That's my great-great-grandmother. So pay me, and that's it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I like that. I was just thinking one other thing quickly. I was looking around and found out that from 2016 on, the number of chapters of the Klan went down from something like 130 to 50. And this is according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, right? They also said that the estimated members are 3,000 to 8,000. You realize that with this guy that was the president and they were screaming was a out-and-out racist every time he opened his mouth and everything that he did, would the numbers not have increased and not decreased?
I mean, that's what it seems like, right? But obviously, that's just simply not the case. the things that the media were talking about were not really real. It was just made up. It didn't translate into real life, obviously.
Right, and they want to silence people who are content creators and everything because they're saying that it's spreading the wrong word and it's going to bring on hatred. Like, it looks to me like with Trump there, who was the racist in chief according to CNN and all those guys, that they're wrong. So, anyways, thanks a lot. It was great talking to you again. I'll say goodnight, man. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All righty. Great call. All right. Let's get to, let me see. All righty. Mixed Girl POV. What's happening?
Hi. Good evening. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Can't complain about yourself.
Good. Great. I'm doing good. Thank you. So I know you, okay, you've been touching on the crisis on the border and everything. And so I just kind of wanted to talk with you about that. So Biden doesn't want to call the crisis on the border a crisis, and he wants to put the best person on the job for handling the border situation. So today he decided to send Kamala the Giggler in to help save the day for the non-crisis crisis. So, whoops, sorry. So this is the same lady who just laughed her behind off while saying if she was going to go to the, whether she was going to go to the border or not. I just posted a video of my doing an impression of her little laugh. Yeah, I heard it's hilarious. You should check it out if you want a little chuckle. But you know, Kamala thinks that this crisis on the border is a joke, and the way she laughed her way through that answer was ridiculous. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts about Biden sending the jokester to help save the day?
Now, I think this whole thing is crazy because it's like, okay, first it was not a crisis. It was just a matter and it wasn't really a big deal. But now all of a sudden you got to have Kamala Harris go down there and it's got to be a real thing you have to try to identify and break down. So that's already a thing that's kind of confusing. But beyond that, my question is, what is she going to do? What's she going to be down there doing? Like,
she's going to get her giggle on, ABL.
She's going to be giggling, taking pictures and just shaking hands, kissing babies. That's pretty much it. Like, she's not going to be doing anything. So it's like, it's just something. I think you know what it is.
What?
They also came out and said, refer to the administration as the Biden-Harris administration. Refer to it that always. So I'm thinking that they're trying to put her out there more and more so you get comfortable with her being out there in the front, talking to the media, having the hard conversations. So when they say, all right, Joe, look, man, it's been nice. Thank you for letting us get in, but go ahead, go home, man. You're done. Pack your stuff. Pink slip. So then they're going to put Kamala Harris in there, and then she'll just take over from there. That's what's going on. They're trying to get you acclimated to seeing Kamala Harris out there.
That's right, because he is he's the supposed president and stuff. Like, shouldn't that be his job? Like, isn't he? I referenced him as dinosaur in chief in my video. He really should have retired about half a century ago. So he's not up to the job, and she doesn't have the brains to do it. She thinks everything is a joke, and you just don't laugh about those things. There's people dying trying to get here, and we're going to be the ones footing the bill for these people. So we're not laughing. Anybody with a brain is not laughing. So, I don't think she's going to do anything. It's going to be a hot mess. It's just going to be more of a mess than it is right now. So, but she needs to stop the giggling, like, for real. Like, she looks ridiculous. She looks like she doesn't have any brains. So, but anyways, well, loving your videos, loving your content. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks. Take care.
All right. A great call from Mixed Girl POV. And she has a channel right here on the YouTubes. Go ahead and check her out right now. Mixed Girl POV. Let's get to the next one. All right, you're on the line. I'm speaking to 917.
Hi, ABL. I got to shut you off. I'm listening to you at the same time I was waiting. Hi, my name's Ray. ABL, thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
Okay, so this is what I suspect that they're doing, and it's not even a suspicion. It's like I know that I know. Okay, they're tearing us down. You know, the politicians, the people in power, the elites, whoever you want to call them, they want to tear us down and tear us down for some time. You know, they want us to go through some stuff so the young people can really see how terrible things are, and then they will introduce socialism and then eventually communism. This is what they want to do. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying this is what their plan is. I've been around the block a few times, so I kind of know, you know, just by reading a lot of history, you know, and watching things throughout my lifetime, I can tell what they're doing. And when I say reading a lot of history, this is like, you know, taking over, tearing down a country, introducing socialism, and then eventually communism 101. Okay, this is in the books. Like if you know, read about Stalin and Hitler and all those people that tried to take over the world, you will see that this is how they operated. I just don't understand why these powerful people don't know that it's never going to work. They're never going to be able to take over the world. And if they do get to, you know, throw their power around like entirely and completely, it might be for a couple of years, and then, you know, it'll collapse like everyone else's has. Now, I know there are some exceptions, you know, and I won't name the countries that there are exceptions to, but I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know, well, you know, why are they different from all of history? But the history that I know is that it doesn't work. It doesn't work when you try to destroy a whole race of people, because they've tried to do that, and that doesn't happen. That doesn't work. Okay. And it doesn't work when you try to take over all of the land in all of the world. That won't be allowed to happen. And I don't want to really bring religion into it, okay, but I happen to be a believer in a higher power, in my God, and I know he's not going to allow that to happen because he doesn't want that to happen. But that's beside the point. But I am, well, I guess I'm, you could tell I'm kind of worked up over this, but I don't understand these powerful people. They're supposed to be educated. They're supposed to be intelligent. Don't they read history? Like, what do they think they're trying to do? Or is it that they only care about themselves? Like, you know what? I'm only going to be here for another 40, 50 years, so I don't care what happens after I'm gone, as long as I have like millions of dollars, you know, in my pocket, and I get to live in my mansion and pass money down onto my children. Who the hell cares? And some of them, not all of them, but some of them don't even have children. So they don't have skin in the game. There's no investment for them. So they could care less about what happens to us in the future. I'm kind of frustrated, you know, by everything that's happened. I try to stay I try to take my breaks from politics, but I can't help it because, you know, it's in our face every day. But anyway, I just want to say thanks for listening to me. And, you know, you could give me your opinion on all of this if you want. You don't have to. I don't want to keep you too long, but I know I'm a little late, but I want to say congratulations, Anthony, Brian, Logan, on your marriage, because I haven't been able to do that. And I know that was a little while ago. So God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All righty. We got quite a few calls on the line. Let's get to a few more. 405, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Howdy. This is Jake from Oklahoma.
All righty. What's going on?
Well, you being a prolific YouTuber, I always kind of wondered, what are your thoughts on the sort of shadow banned people such as like Alex Jones, Young Pharaoh, and Milo and friends?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you think they're doing? Do you think it's a positive, their whole movement they're starting up?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I know that these guys have had issues. I think they banned Alex Jones and they banned Milo. Did they ban Young Pharaoh too?
Well, young Pharaoh, he recently got hit off of Instagram. Of course, after the whole CPAC thing, the whole Judaism thing.
Yeah.
But you having quite a decent following. Have you ever considered like reaching out to them or anything?
Well, I'm not really sure what I can do for them.
I don't know, maybe be a guest or something.
Oh, well, I think Alex Jones is still good though because he has his own. He still has Infowars.com, which is a crazy website. I mean, he can help me more than I can help him. Really, be honest with you on YouTube. But well, in general, because he has a pretty big following, regardless. And Milo, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, true that.
I don't like Milo really. Just to be honest with you.
Not a fan of Milo.
Nah.
About Gavin. Gavin, cool.
I mean, he's okay. I've not heard a lot of his stuff really, but I guess from what I've heard, he's okay. But he's kind of toxic because of the whole Proud Boys thing. And I'm not even necessarily a guy that's like saying that Proud Boys are like this super dangerous group, but it's just toxic. So, and then with the whole Enrique thing, it's just a weird situation. And
no, it's funny. Yeah, you actually mentioned the PB stuff because I actually messed around with them for quite a bit in the whole election run. I actually went to some barbecues and stuff. They are surprisingly really cool, very multicultural, actually.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I met them. I met Enrique. I met a lot of them, but it's just toxic because of things that some of the guys get involved with. Not all of them, because like you said, a lot of them are pretty cool, but it becomes weird when you got some guys that are kind of divergent and want to do different things, and it casts a bad light on the whole situation. So then when you get wrapped up in it, it's like, what can you gain from it? And then I don't even really know Gavin like that or what he's talking about. All I know is that he can get toxic sometimes, although he's probably not even the bad guy. But you got to be careful about you got to be careful about who you align yourself with, and it's just a bad situation. But as far as Young Pharaoh, he doesn't like Candace Owens, so I don't understand where I would be able to help him because that's a friend of mine, and
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Huh?
Yeah, so I don't really know. All I would say to anybody that's out there that's going through a situation is Alex Jones had the blueprint right, which is build his own platform, because Infowars, that's going to be big regardless, because that was big before he really became big on YouTube. So you got to build your own platform first. So if YouTube wants to shadow ban or do whatever, have your own thing to the side so they can't take you off of there. So that's my advice to anybody.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, man. Keep up the good content. Loving your stuff for better part of a year now.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Yeah, Young Pharaoh, I mean, I guess he's cool. His content is not really my cup of tea. It's like that. It's like kind of like woke a little bit, but he don't like Candace Owens. So it's like, what you want me to do? Candace Owens is a friend of mine. I never had any problems with Candace. I don't understand this hate. And if you the kind of person that is like a prolific hater, making videos and whatnot, it's like you're hating on me too. So what can I do with that? There's nothing I really can do. Yeah, but Gavin, I don't know a lot about, but I know that he's just toxic because of the situation. And a lot of that is not even really his fault. But what you going to do? All right, Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Hey, how's it going, ABL?
Everything was a right man about yourself.
Not too bad, not too bad. I just wanted to point out some things that I think people should give a bit more thought to. The whole concept of China saying that China clearly stated that they are seeking to be basically the world dominating power by 2050, I believe. And it's clear to all our politicians, it's clear to all our citizens, but it seems like there's a resistance to fight that back. Like during this past election, the Supreme Court should have at least heard one case, and they know all these things. I'm wondering, what do you think is going on with that? Like, this is like each branch of government it's as though each branch of government is in China's pocket. And as a regular citizen, there's no possible way for you to actually prove that. But intuitively, we know what's going on. Shouldn't we at least have, the Supreme Court saying we're doing something?
I mean, they should do something. I think so. Now I'm not really sure what. I don't know that part of it, but they should do something because that's an issue. That's a serious issue that needs to be looked into. But see, in China, they're kind of like a raging bull right now. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to stop them. But at a certain point, you can't just do nothing and just be like, "Oh, okay, do whatever you want," and it's fine.
Right, right. And I mean, I feel like the culture's been taken over. Um, what was it? I think it was Bill Maher that was saying that as we binge watch Netflix and Hulu and TV and whatnot, they binge build. They've built so much. They build just as quick as we watch TV. And I think that they're quite close to achieving their goals. And because we have politicians that are basically their pockets are being filled by like Chinese billions, they don't mind seeing that happen at all. Frankly, it's like it's not even a Trojan horse at this point. It's just happening blatantly before our face, and no one has the courage to actually do or say something about it. I mean, it's quite honestly, in my opinion, I think it's quite distressing. Um, so I mean, I guess I'll leave it at that. But I wanted to mention something about another aspect of China that's kind of infiltrating our society is if you have noticed, China has this whole thing called a social credit, which basically shackles people. As you can move about freely, it kind of shackles you in society, like you're restricted from doing certain things. And I mean, wouldn't you agree that this is kind of the same thing that's going on in our society today with cancel culture? I feel like cancel culture is just a sort of another name for social credit. Would you agree with that?
It's a form of it, yes. It's like we don't have it like all the way in society, but
Right.
that is kind of like a preview of it. And really, quite frankly, they probably stole that whole thing from us as far as social credit system because we already have the credit score. You already have
Right,
that.
right.
And I was hearing the other day that if you're trying to rent an apartment, they're running your credit to rent an apartment. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
so
actually, I just ran an apartment now, and that's exactly what they did.
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that can preclude you from being able to do some kind of basic things, having somewhere to live, get in the
Right.
car, getting a job sometimes.
Mhm.
So that's already a part of it. And then also, what else did they have? Your criminal history. They could do a background check on you. It's the same thing. And also, if you drive Uber, Lyft, it do the
Mhm.
same thing. Like they had an episode of Black Mirror
Wow.
on it. Like that episode of Black Mirror touched on the whole thing. They showed how the system kind of works in China, but in the Western culture. Like, all right, you have an interaction with somebody briefly just on the elevator, and then you just rank them as a person. Oh, okay, they were cool, they were not cool. And then that's you. You pretty much go based on that. But when you in the Uber and the Lyft, you do the same thing. Okay, was it a good ride, bad ride? Were they a talkative driver? Was the car dirty? Did they have roaches or whatever? You do all that on your app. It's the same thing. And if you got a bad driver, you might not be able to drive anymore. You might get kicked off the whole program.
Yeah,
Can't even
yeah.
work. So it's already going on here. That's just a more advanced version of it that we already practice pretty much here.
Right. It's actually funny that you mentioned that because I'm actually reminded of I just graduated as an MD as a doctor, and you actually
Congratulations.
have thanks. You actually have residency directors that would flat out say, "Hey, listen, we need Trump out the White House, and we need you guys to go out and vote," assuming that that's exactly what we want. And it's so funny. I have so many colleagues of mine that look like me and you who will say nothing, absolutely nothing. Actually, they're reminded around the season where they go for interviews and for hiring, they're reminded to sort of shut down their Facebook and whatnot so that residencies can actually see, what your thoughts are politically. So
Wow.
I mean, I think it's kind of a dangerous. It's a really dangerous setting that we're living in today, and hopefully they don't see this video.
Right. Hopefully not.
But yeah, my last thing is this whole thing with releasing catch and release. Would you say it's far-fetched to think that I noticed that the Democrats, they will never outright say, they will never explicitly say, what their intentions are, what their purpose are. They'll use legal politics, like crooked legal politics, to get their way. Sort of the same thing that happened in Georgia with Stacey Abrams and Raffensperger and Brian Kemp. So they legally sort of stole Georgia, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So right now it's kind of legal to catch and release. Do you think it's far-fetched to think that one of their intentions might be to
allow these non-corona tested illegals to run rampant in red states to sort of dilute the populace in those regions?
I mean, that's a really good question, and that could be the case. That most certainly could be, to make their states look better than ours. To say that, oh, look at what Ron DeSantis did. He put his population at risk. Look what Greg Abbott did. He put his population at risk. That could be what's going on, because what's happening right now, based upon the numbers that we see, the actual hardcore evidence is that Florida does not have this out of control rate. It's pretty much on par with, if not better than, California, which has been pretty much on a lockdown. So the question is, okay, if Florida is a pretty populous state with tourists from all over the country and they're open, why is their rate not higher than California, which is pretty much locked down? What's going on? So that's a good point. Good question.
Right. Well, anyway, thanks for hearing me out. And I must say, before going, thank you so much for what you do. I remember the first time I started listening to you was maybe a year and a half ago. And the very first line I heard this guy, this black guy on YouTube with a cap on, say was, we're talking about some sort of thing that happened, and something about Don Lemon, and Don Lemon had cried, and then you mentioned something like, oh my goodness, like he does not represent me as a black man. And once I heard that, it kind of clicked. I was like, oh my goodness, someone just said that, like, let me listen more. And then I realized then and there that, there's a lot of other people who are like you and I. And I've actually been finding quite a few of them. Of course, they don't publicize it, but just thank you for what you're doing. And I hope you get a much better following, a much greater following. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you for that, man. Appreciate you.
No problem. Have a good night.
All right. Shout out to the young doctor. Shout out to him. Great call. But yeah, social credit score is pretty much already here. We have it broken apart. The Chinese system is more advanced and more centralized. Because my question would be, okay, if you are in China, do they do background checks? Do they do credit checks? Is there an Uber or Lyft where you get rated? I mean, how does it really work? They may have all of those things wrapped up into one, and they judge you as a person. They go above and beyond and say, okay, did you cut your neighbor's grass when they were sick? That type of stuff. Like unnecessary stuff that they may try to judge you on. But I mean, they do, like, we saw it happen after the Capitol situation. Like, hear me out right quick. They if you were on a flight and they thought you were at the Capitol doing something wrong, you got kicked off the flight. It's the same thing with social score. Okay, you got a bad score or you can't fly. It's the same thing. So hopefully we don't go down that road any further. All right, Scott, caller, who am I speaking to?
What's going on? No. How you doing?
Everything's all right, man. What's happening?
Ain't none. Just wanted to, kind of give a quick shout out to you. No feedback real quick. You know what I'm saying? Coming from Japan, back in the States now. When I'm in the field, I'm in the field. When I'm in the ocean, I'm in the ocean. Now I'm here, back in the States. So I'm trying to figure out, hey man, what's going on? What's happening? How's the States, like this? What's going on? Everybody's acting stupid and crazy. I'm not saying I keep up with, politics like that, but I've been watching you for some years, and when I can catch you, I can catch you. You understand? But the thing is, I get here, I say hello to somebody, and they're looking at me with the evil eye. Like I don't know you. What's up? It's just some scary stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But where I live, I'm in Tennessee, man. It's straight. It's no problems here where I live. But you go to California, I don't know. It's a little different.
Yeah, it is a
New York,
little
different.
different.
Right. Yeah, man.
But I mean, over in Japan, I will admit, I'm just gonna straight out saying, I love it over there. The people are genuine, they're nice. You can make a friend in a hot second, right off the rip. I'm a little old school, so some of my words might sound a little funny to you. Then again, I know you old school too, so you can relate.
That's right.
Especially with the gun things, I like my guns, what can I say? I'm more of a Kimber dude when it comes to the pistols.
Okay.
ARs, action fams, whatever. Anyway, I'm not saying I have any of those, wink, wink. But, I'm actually contemplating literally moving out to Japan, man, because I don't know. I started looking up crime reports and, things that are going on here. I had no idea it was this bad, to be for real, man, back in the States. And right before coming over here, just to give you another one, we don't look good, man. You know, we don't look good at all. You know, coming from the outside, the states are looking like, you know, a pussy. You know what I'm saying? Straight out. Just a pussy nation for real. And that's a scary thing when the world is looking at the United States as a pussy. You know, and one last thing, I'm real disappointed in Georgia since that's what I represent. That's more my spot. You know, I'm a Georgia boy, but seeing how dumb they acting too, you know, they getting extra stupid. You know, but quick shout out, just wanted to give you that, you know what I'm saying? Say that to you and just to let you know, people, if you're out there, you know, I would suggest, you know, throwing something in your savings account, kind of, you know, get yourself ready, do some things, hold back, don't spend all your money up, do a little investing, you know, prepare for, you know, for the worst if you can, you know, not saying the worst is going to happen, but do that.
No
And
doubt, man. Right
that's
on.
it, man. Do your thing. Keep it moving, keep it real, keep it real. Easy day. I'm out.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, shout out to the soldier. 100%. Yeah, he had a mask on because he's not really trying to show you who he is. He's covering his name as well. So shout out to the soldier out there in Japan with the U.S. Army. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you for your service, of course. You already know what it is. All righty. The phone lines are blowing up. I'm going to try to get to a few more. Y'all just hang tight. Hang tight. We're going to get to you. 609, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, hello, ABL.
Yes, yes. Who am I
My
speaking
name is Hello. I'm 17. I just want to talk about the shooter, the Colorado shooter.
Go for it.
He had some stuff on his Facebook page. And he was talking about, like, I think he was fueled by, like, leftist propaganda and stuff. Like, he was talking about Islamophobic, racist people and stuff. I just want to bring that up because I don't think anybody was talking about that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really important point to make. And you know, his family was like he had become withdrawn, and he wasn't really outgoing anymore. So he probably got self radicalized with that left wing stuff that he put on his Facebook
Yeah,
page.
he was just reading the headlines.
And you know what? One thing that people aren't talking about is how all the victims were white. And if I'm wrong, anybody in the chat, let me know in the comments. But all white victims. So was this a racial attack? Because if you read in a lot of the left wing stuff, what did they say? White supremacy, white this, white that, white are evil, whites, whites, whites. So was it a racial attack? I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. But we should at least ask the question since it was automatically assumed in the case of the Atlanta shooter because he's white and the majority of the victims were Asian.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. And I love your show. I love watching you all the time. And that's it.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question. It's like, okay, you have a white shooter in Atlanta. He kills mostly Asian people, not all. He also killed 2 white people and shot one Hispanic man that didn't die. Mostly Asians, and that's considered some kind of racial hate crime, right? Without having any kind of evidence, you just assume it right away. Now, on the other hand, you have an Asian person because he's from Syria. Syria is in Asia, regardless of what you think. Middle East is Asia. Once you get past Istanbul and Turkey, you're in Asia, period. But anyway, he's Asian and he shoots all white people. So was that for a particular reason? He knocked a bully out cold in high school for calling him a terrorist. What color was the bully? You tell me. All righty, let's go to some more here. All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me just go to it. Okay. Skype wants to act a little crazy right now. Eight five six on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, ABL.
Yes, sir. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, hi, this is Joe in New Jersey.
All righty. What's going on?
Yeah, I promised to ask just one question. I got a good question, too. So, conservatives generally believe that gun laws don't stop gun violence, right?
Yeah.
So, by that same logic, how would election laws prevent election fraud?
Well, that's a good
Gotta speak
question.
in code.
That's a good question because the thing about owning a gun, you can have that and you could just buy it. It's like going to a store and buying a candy bar. But when you're talking about voting, you can't just vote anywhere. It's one place you go to. It's a legal process, and you have to show ID. And it's just like going to the bank and showing ID to say you are who you say you are. You can prevent somebody from cashing false checks or selling your identity by requiring people to have identity once they go to a bank or something like that. Okay, you want to buy a car and you say my name is Bill Gates. Well, where's your ID, Bill Gates? No, I have no ID. All right, it's called the police. So in controlled environments, you're able to have laws that work, and voting is a controlled environment. When you're talking about being able to own guns, it's not the same thing because you could buy a gun pretty much anywhere. It's a whole different thing.
Right. But with laws, though, more laws, especially with election laws, how would that stop any kind of wrongdoing?
Because it's like, okay, if you go to a place in a controlled environment and you have to show ID to be able to vote, that stops it right there. That prevents a lot of the fraud because people say that there's somebody else, which is called identity theft. You can go to jail for that. So to prevent identity theft, you could just say, hey, show our ID. And if you can't show your ID, you can't vote. You can't just vote anywhere. You could buy a gun on the side of the road, but you can't vote on the side of the road. You got to vote in one particular controlled environment. So to have laws in the books that prevent that, you be able to do so in a controlled environment versus just on the side of the road.
Oh, okay.
All righty.
All right. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
Yeah, just have your ID and you be good to go. Go to the county courthouse and try to say, hey, my name is my name is Paul Newhart. Give me some royalties from my old sitcom back in the day. Well, where's your ID, sir? I don't have it. But my name was Paul Newhart. Give it up. That's not it wouldn't work. 608, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. Nice to hear from you again. We actually spoke a while ago. This is Josh.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Well, it's nice to talk to you. It's nice to talk to you again. But I got something new to ask you this time.
Okay.
So over the firing of Gina Carano and as in the crazy things that Disney and a lot of other entertainment companies have done. A lot of people have speculated that this is about PR for companies who are already in the doghouse. The problem is, how do they get that? Who told them that this would be a good move to cater to a crowd that is so niche? Because the only reason that the left even is able to push any of this stuff is because they've told these companies, hey, you better cater to us, otherwise we ain't going to help you. Or how's that going to work?
So you catering to what crowd now? The LGBTQ, ABC? What's the crowd?
It's either the LGBTQ crowd, the feminism crowd, whether it's other stuff like that, like what EA tried to do with the Battlefield games, what Disney tried to do with pushing the sequel trilogy. It's like who told them that it was a good idea to cater to a base that doesn't even that barely even does that stuff.
Well, see, the thing is, it's not even about just that base at all. You got to kind of zoom out and look at how others view it. So regular normies that feel like they're progressive and they're woke and they're not racist and they're not sexist and they're tolerant of everything, they're the ones that you got to try to please. Not even the people that you say that you want to appease or try to cater to. You're catering to those that are on the outside looking in. A prime example is drag queen story time. Now you got parents, moms and dads bringing their kids to see these grown men looking like NFL football players dressed up in Halloween costumes, but the Nightmare Edition. Okay, you got this big 6'5" linebacker looking dude dressed as Frozen, Elsa, but scary edition, like Halloween type. You know what I mean? Vampire fangs, the whole 9 yards. These people are straight. They got children, right? They're straight. They're heterosexual. They're not drag queens, but they feel like they got to be very open and very accepting of this ridiculous behavior. So you cater into that crowd, not the people that you have out there in the front as the props.
like it's one thing to be open, but it's another thing entirely to just try to do the least amount possible. I mean, it seems like they barely put any effort into it.
What do you mean?
I suppose because like in episode like in Star Wars Episode 9, they included a lesbian kiss scene for like literally no reason other than to say they said, "Hey, we have it."
Yeah, that's all. That's all you need. That's all you need, because that's why a lot of these new TV shows and movies are kind of garbage, because a lot of things are put in there just for a PR reason. Like it'll be a meeting and they say, okay, rather than be focused on storyline and content and having a good show, let's try to put some woke stuff in there every now and again. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be there. So then we can gain woke points from doing that.
And then they try to hide behind the label of, oh, you don't like female characters. No, we like female characters. We just want good female characters. Like Gina Carano as Cara Dune, she was actually a pretty decent character. Rey would have been a decent character as well if they had just written her better.
Well, see, that's where the wokeness and talent and all of that kind of have it's kind of a problem. That's unfortunately where we are. And then the end result is you might have a great product people love, and then it gets ruined.
Well, the good news for that is that with tools being more accessible and more people learning how to make their own CG stuff, like there are people making their own Star Wars content right now. Like if you've heard of Star Wars Theory, you most likely have heard that they made a fan film about Vader that is just significantly better than what a lot of stuff has come along. Not to say that Disney hasn't done anything good. I mean, like The Mandalorian and don't forget Rogue One.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's probably going to be the way for the future. You're going to have more stuff that people make beyond the big budget industry. It's going to get a natural following, and then that may get some money put behind it to make that be the forefront if there's a big shift towards that content rather than the stuff that comes from the big studios.
I pretty much have stopped watching a lot of mainstream stuff, like even in the MCU, and just started writing my own goddamn stories because frankly, it's given me the drive to become an artist, even though I'm not practicing as a welder right now. But yeah,
and man, that's the way it's supposed to be, man. Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, even though like it works in the fan fiction area, like it's still way better of a story than just a desert girl who somehow learned how to do all that crap.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. You have a good day, man.
Same to you. All righty. Well, that'll be a wrap for me. I'm done for the call. So tonight, if you couldn't get on, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. You got to blame the white man. But thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. I got super chats to read right quick, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow on the top. I'll be back live again on, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Eastern. The first hour or so, me talking about whatever's going on. Then the last 2 hours, we take phone calls. We can talk about what's happening. You can call it to debate, but hey, if you get wrecked in a debate, again, not my fault. You know to blame. But anyway, super chats on that. I'm going to read those, wrap it on up right quick. So let me go back to where I was. And shout out to say, let's shout out to, hold on, let me go back to where I was. Thank you to Tanisha for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you to Granny Grace Caffrey. I know I butchered your name, maybe, but if I did, it's not my fault. But Grace says, keep up the reporting. I thank you. And thank you for the #1 fan emoji. Shout out to the anti-view who says, live reaction to Bone Thugs. Send me link in comments. Grace also says, thanks, ABL from Grace. Thank you. John Medeski says, you'll give Ivan a buck. He got TDS. Chickens World says, sir. Crunchy D says, that caller owes reparations for listening to him. John says a few things here. ABA, you take your vaccine yet? Ebola here? No, thank you. Also, you ever see Bohemian Grove? That's crazy, man. Operation Northwoods and Divide and Conquer is obvious. Lamar says, I love your work. You're down to earth. And you know what you're talking about. I love talking to your brother. Bless you and keep up the good work. Thank you for that. Thank you to Angel who says, hey, ABL, congrats on 800,000 plus subscribers. Hoping your platforms continue to grow. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And while I'm talking right now, I got your attention. Please go to the all new, renovated, new products, new platform, ablmerch.com. I got these, snazzy new hats. I survived the scandemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. And that's on the storefront. I also have this hat available in the distressed dad hat, kind of the low profile, hugging your head with the strap on the back. I got them in these kind as well. I got hats on hats on hats. I got men's merch, women's merch, all that good stuff, and more to come. I'll be updating the website a lot because it's much more flexible than the previous one. So ablmerch.com for your merchandise. It's hot. Go catch it. And I got a 20% discount code on there right now. And the discount code is cages, as in Joe Biden's border cages, the kids in cages. Cages is the code to get 20% off your next order on ablmerch.com. We ship everywhere for the most part. If you're living in Australia, you can ship to Australia, UK, Europe, whatever. We got you. All righty. And I think it's a Buck versus Windshield who says, Archie Bunker says, get rid of handguns. What would you rather have them push out of windows? Michael and Julie Williams, thank you for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to John Medeski who says, everyone is wearing a mask, criminals as well. Shout out to Brandy who says, so tired of hearing anti-maskers. There's maskers and then there's normal people. There you go. Y'all know we never wore masks in public until pandemic. Don't let them call you anti-masker. We are the normals. That's right. We're the normies over here. They're just, walking around as normal. Not putting this, dirty diaper on your face, but different story. Anyway, thank you to Mike from Queens who says gun control used to hide crisis on the border. Oh, so they're trying to talk about gun control rather than talking about the real problem. Makes sense to me. Shout out to Divine Feminine Queen for your donation who says, hi, ABL, just wanted to give thanks. Thank you for that. Thank you to John Medeski who says, search Operation Northwood. Shout out to Rose for #1 fan emoji. Thank you to Tasha who says, LA Department of Health, Louisiana Department of Health, Louisiana abortion stats, 7,448 abortions were performed in 2020. Black women accounting for 65% of this number. Minority accounting for the majority. This is the real issue for us. Exactly. Thank you for that. So again, in Louisiana, the Department of Health says there were 7,448 abortions in the state, and 65% of that is black women. That's a lot of people. And that was to the caller earlier to say he didn't know anybody that had an abortion. Well, there's a lot of people that have them. You're not really going to see it. They're not going to be on the gram talking about, look at my abortion. That's not really going to happen that much. Buck versus Windshield says, shout out to all our military and especially those who are ABL fans. Hats off to you good people. Exactly. Thank you to Leo Mazzino who says, what are the chances of 7-Eleven doing a free Slurpee for the vaccine? Hey, that right there might take it over the top. That's like a discussion. It's like, okay, Krispy Kreme says a free donut for the vaccine. But if I get a free Slurpee, a jumbo goat, hey, man, give me the jab. I'm totally playing. I will never do that. But I digress. Somebody would, though, which is the sad part. Thank you to RDN Theo for the donation who says, before any reparations are handed out, American Indians need theirs first. Look it up. They are living with no electricity or water. Angel says, oh, I already read that one. Thank you for that again. Thank you to Miss Girl POV for the you are amazing emoji. I appreciate you very much. Marcus Edwards says, what's up, ABL? Do you think some of the Democrats in the Senate are going to push back on the gun control bills? Great question. Maybe Joe Manchin, perhaps, because West Virginia, we don't play those games. But you're gonna keep the guns up in them hollers. You're not coming to get them. They're talking about, I saw Joe Biden said that he may authorize authorities, not really sure who, to go take guns by force, to go into your crib with no warrant. That's silly. Why would you do that? You got this man up in the hall, ain't messing with nobody, just minding his business. Here comes some men with guns, take his gun. Why would you do that? You putting yourself in danger for no reason. So you're going to have some people that say, let's not do that because you're going to cause a lot of problems. Unnecessarily. All right. Thank you to Ty Nicholas who says, my dad got vaccine yesterday, super sick today, 53 years old. Well, praying for your father. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully everything's all right. We don't want to see nothing happen. And thank you to Tech Key 1 who says, Japan is great. The tech is awesome. The people are nice. The crime is super low to nothing there. And the food is real, fresh, healthy, and tastes great. Check it out if you can. To ABL, stay blessed, stay true, and stay you. Thank you for that. And I love to go to Japan. That's a bucket list. I'm going to go to Japan, check it out, see what's happening, get some of that good food, and just experience it. I definitely want to go there. All right. So thank y'all again for being here. I appreciate you guys for coming on in. I'll be back live again on Saturday with another live video. the first hour or so, 8 o'clock Saturday, talking about whatever's happening. The last 2 hours, talking about just talking with you callers that call in. And what else I got to say? Oh, this will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform on Friday, 8 a.m. And then the Saturday show will be available Monday, 8 a.m. as audio only on your favorite audio streaming platform, Google, Spotify, whatever it is. Check it out in a link in the description box below. And thank you to Tyrone, who says, quote Ronald Reagan, disarm the people will stop it by force if necessary. Well, hey, I didn't say it, Reagan did. But that's all I got. Shout out to all the mods in the house doing a great job as always. I appreciate you guys. I couldn't do it without you. But that's all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.